There we go.
Hello, welcome to the Heretic channel. My name is Jenova.
And I'm Gene Skinner. Hi, everybody.
Gene, what are we talking about tonight?
Tonight we are talking about video rentals and drive-ins, their legacy and modern endurance, believe it or not.
All right. But before we do that, I've got some news. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to read the news for views.
Thank you, Mundane Matt.
All right. First thing is first, because it's Avengers weekend, damn it. Endgame makes 60 million in North America, which is not very good.
No.
Because North America means more than the United States. That means Canada as well. But it made 160 million in China.
Mm-hmm.
Now that doesn't mean they won't make more. Second week is what really fucking matters.
Yep.
But not a solid opening weekend for an Avengers film, I would say. But I think it's the most. I think they said it was the highest grossing opening weekend for an Avengers film. I just always usually expect them to make more, but
I'm glad they don't.
I personally don't like them. I understand why other people like them. I understand people who got into this, a decade ago, and this is their end, this is their bookend, and they want that. But if you thought like Captain Marvel was bad, or you thought Black Panther was real woke, the stuff they've got coming next is gonna be real fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is, at least I'd like to say this. If you do enjoy these films, this is the one you end on because it's just going to get worse. And if you like them after that, stop being a fucking sucker.
yeah, there are a couple of I wouldn't say Avengers films, but there are a couple Marvel films that I don't have a problem with. Well, I should say Disney Marvel, because for me the best Marvel movie is still Blade. But
No, it's obviously Daredevil's the best. I mean, I just said that because I'm a Bullseye fan, but
if I watched Daredevil again recently, I would probably agree that it was great.
top of the morning.
So my second bit of news is Travel Channel is rebooting Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, are they?
And the host will be our boy Bruce Campbell.
Fuck yeah.
So if you didn't like Ripley's Believe It or Not before, and you didn't watch that show, I can't remember who hosted that show before. Dean Cain, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Dean Cain or
maybe somebody. I can't remember. I think there's a couple.
There's a few different hosts for Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah. But this time it will be hosted by the king himself, Bruce Campbell, and it's a coincidence because we were just talking
about
Bruce
him.
a couple
Yeah,
of days ago. Yes, it's weird how that shit works out.
it is.
My third bit of news, and I'm kind of excited about this because A Clockwork Orange was one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite Stanley Kubrick film.
Mm-hmm.
An unpublished manuscript serving as the sequel to A Clockwork Orange was discovered this week in author Anthony Burgess's house.
Yeah, hasn't he been dead for a while?
Yes, I believe so. It's titled A Clockwork Condition, and it may lead to a sequel.
It may lead to a sequel by J.J. Abrams. I know.
No, the lens flare.
The lens flare.
Here it comes. Now, what's his name is still alive, so I mean, depending on the manuscript or where the sequel takes up, yeah, you could see an older Malcolm McDowell reprise his role as
now
Alex.
They're gonna get Jared Leto instead.
Of course. You know what? I do not. I can totally see that. I can see Jared Leto wedging his fucking idiot face in there.
Or they'll get Joaquin Phoenix.
One of them will, yeah, because Alex is very similar to the Joker in a lot of ways. So we'll see what they do with that. But I would like for them to at least maybe publish it as a book or something. I'd like to see what happens after that because I really like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
So my last bit of news is 2 nights ago on Wednesday, there was a new episode, and this is kind of Gallery of the Unknown news, actually.
Yeah.
A new episode of Travel Channel's In Search of Monsters did a spotlight on the Jersey Devil.
Oh wait, what the hell? Dr. Yoshi's thing was message protected. Oh, maybe he took it back himself. That's what that means, right? Because it doesn't mean message deleted.
Yeah. I'm giving everybody a
Yeah, give
wrench
everyone a
here.
wrench, anyways, because we don't have moderation.
Yes, I don't know what's happening there. But yes, there was a spotlight episode on the Jersey Devil on Travel Channel's In Search of Monsters a couple days ago. You might be able to still find it. I'm sure they'll repeat it over the weekend because that's what they usually do. But that's Gallery of Known because you guys
Yeah,
did that.
I said that title as a name on Bannerants before. That we're gonna call it Gallery. We're gonna call it In Search of Monsters. So they stole my shit. Is what I'm not happy about.
They're always watching.
Always watching, always listening.
Always with a hand outstretched, ready to take what's yours.
Maybe
And if you did
6
it
or
to
8
them,
hands.
if you did it to them, you
Oy
can
vey.
fucking best believe they'd be up in arms trying to
vey.
sue the shit out of you.
Yep.
But that is the end of our fucking news today. We don't
That
have
is.
to talk about this fucking bullshit movie industry anymore. Oh, except for the fact that the Weinstein trial has been delayed till September.
Oh, has it?
Yes. And we know Harvey probably has some goons who work that deal for him.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think it was supposed to happen in June, but now it's been pushed back to September. And apparently there is a fight over the victims who they may not be able to testify in court, which I don't know why they wouldn't be able to. I guess.
Isn't one of the victims, who?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
So-
she won't be testifying.
Yeah, I imagine she won't be now because everything she's fucking said and all the stuff she's done that proves how much of a massive fucking hypocrite she is.
Yeah, and Weinstein's lawyers will tear her apart on the stand.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't actually write that down. I just remembered it while we were going off to somewhere. But now we can get on to
Drive-ins
drive-in,
and
diners,
video
and
rental. Thanks, Guy Fieri. Meaning it.
Take me to Flavor Town, Gene.
Take me to Flavor Town. So yeah, there's a whole thing about drive-ins and video rental. I came upon an interesting article. Let me see if I can find it. I bookmark it. I sent it to you. And it's all about how the video rental store is still thriving actually more than Blockbuster is and all these other places.
Like you're talking like local video stores?
Yeah, local video stores. There wasn't
mom and pops type shops.
Some are now specialty shops actually.
Okay.
They're not really mom and pop. They cater where they have like private screenings and stuff for certain films.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff you can't get on DVD, Blu-ray, or video on demand or anything like that. They are literally fine print, rare copies on either VHS, laserdisc tape, laserdiscs, or Betamax tapes. If you want to see everything by a director, because not everything a director puts out is ever going to get released into something.
True. Yeah. A lot of things sit on shelves.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. I'm just looking for the article again. I know that link I sent to you.
You should have it bookmarked.
I should have, yeah.
Hi Hawk, hi Groomed,
We talk
hi
a lot.
Yamamoto,
Yeah.
hi Golf City, hi Cindy, hi Weeb, hi Lady Lonby.
Yeah.
Don't we call her Skunk?
I call her Skunk. And people call her Lucky
Skunk.
too.
Skunk is it's a lot easier than. I'm all for the nicknames.
I see the Woke Jack stuff. Steph Robies I sent you.
Woke.
It's just him being a stupid idiot.
I hope we're all men and women here. No bitches, I hope. I don't see any bitches, Hawk. Bitches come.
Give me the bitches.
That's from Triple X.
Yep. I am still trying to find it and I don't see it.
Oh no.
Have I lost it?
Well, the first drive-in was
why don't you talk about that while I'm looking for
the
this?
first drive-in was created in 1933 and opened the same year in Camden, New Jersey. It's a great place to put it because of all the high fatality rates when it
Yep.
comes to all the auto accidents.
Yep.
So if you got a place for people to park their fucking cars and not move them, watch a fucking movie.
Yep.
I don't have too much experience with drive-ins because they were starting to die out around the time I was a kid. I remember I saw one movie in the drive-in, and it was Witches with Angelica Houston, and it really scared the shit out of me. That film.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be for kids, but it's not. It's very dark. That film. They take kids and they turn them into mice and
Mm.
shit at some hotel.
Yeah.
But there still is a drive-in around my area somewhere. I've never been to it, but a buddy of mine.
Oh,
Uh,
I found the article. There we go.
all
It's
right,
by
go.
Jason Bailey is the guy who talked about it from Flavor Wire. Let me jump to it.
Flav.
Oh God. So let me take a look at this. Yeah, it says the premature death of video stores and why it's worth saving. Editor's note: this post was originally published in March 2016. We selected it on one of the posts for republishing for our 10th anniversary celebrations in May 2017. All I've read for months and even years that the video store is dead, and yet here I am on the counter of Free Video Brooklyn in the middle of weekend afternoon, and I can't get a word in edgewise. I'm in the interview. I'm here to interview Aaron Hillis, the film writer and enthusiast who took over a 13-year-old store in 2012. And we can barely exchange one question or one answer before we have to pause so we can check out another customer, or sell a gift certificate, or take a call, or track down a title. This is right on Smith Street, Hill explains, which has the best walking traffic because it's the restaurant row and district of Brooklyn. So yeah, basically, all it starts out as like talking about this video store in Brooklyn and how they've been surviving past the stuff of all the end of videos and everything else. And they mention a number of video stores in this. What's really interesting about it is just how like the death of the video store was an article that was posted like forever and a half ago, and how this is kind of denying that because it's the premature death of the video store that people think they no longer exist when they still do.
Which, I mean, that can hamper your business
Yes.
if people don't think you exist anymore.
Yeah.
And most people are using Netflix or Prime or
Or
even
Redbox.
Redbox, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Let me scan through this a little bit more.
In the glory days of the unbreakable union of sovereign socialist peoples, there was a weird fusion of drive-ins and movie rentals. They'd show bootleg Western flicks inside large passenger vans.
Huh. That's interesting.
It says groomed. Weeb says, I miss Blockbuster.
Well, Blockbuster kind of sucked, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's where I rented my movies from for the most part. Early, before Blockbuster was really a thing,
Mhm.
I would go to a place called York Video.
Mhm.
And York Video had one of those, beaded rooms that you
Yep,
could.
that's the adult only section usually most of the
Yeah,
time. Yep.
but I would get, I walk right into the horror section every time I go in to rent a movie.
Yep. I had something where we lived that was actually open for a very long time, even after like Blockbuster and everything else closed down here, called Home Video. They had a huge selection of old VHS tapes and all this other shit. I don't remember when it closed down, but it's been permanently closed for a while now. Unfortunately, it's a big building that's still there. Uh, I was just thinking of they had like all the old games there too. They had Sega Genesis games. Sometimes they had N64 games, NES games, SNES games. It's actually really interesting.
Yeah, York is closed down too.
Yep.
And now the Blockbuster that used to exist in my area is a mattress store.
So it says, once upon a time, a video store wouldn't have seemed so particular. After all, there were nearly 30,000 of them in the United States in 1989. But by
That
20,
doesn't seem like a lot.
that's not. But by 2014, the number has dwindled to barely 6,000. There are still video stores.
So there's 6,000 in 2014.
Yes.
Okay.
The loudest noise was from over the shuttering behemoth of the video store chain, following years of struggle, acquisitions, the bankruptcy, movie gallery, which has taken Hollywood Video 5 years earlier and closed the stores in 2010, and Blockbuster, which followed suit in 2013. But turnaround is fair play. The market dominance, Blockbuster boasted 9,000 locations. in 2004, and seemingly unlimited resources of those chains all but ended the mom and pop independent video stores that ruled the marketplace in the early days of video stores. Now those indies are all that's left, and the collapse of the mega stores has left them with a small but enthusiastic clientele still looking to rent movies. And though the market forces that sunk the chains, the Great Recession, from a certain great president, the rise of Netflix, which the reason Netflix exists, by the way, is because the fact that a guy got a $40 late fee from Blockbuster and was pissed about it
Yep.
and started Netflix as a video mailing service.
Yes, that's what Netflix originally was.
Yes.
They would mail the DVDs to
And
you.
I can't wait till it's gone.
You don't like Netflix?
I hate Netflix.
I don't like Netflix either. Did you know Blockbuster had an opportunity to
Yes,
buy
they
Netflix?
did. Yep. It mentioned it in this article too that they had the opportunity for, I think it was like $4 million or $6 million,
Yeah, something like that.
and they said no.
Yes, because they didn't think that video stores would become irrelevant.
Yeah, it's also their own downfall though too, because it's Blockbuster shitty fucking practices that had the whole reason their huge chains fell apart. As I'll read a little bit more on this. Let's see. The shift to streaming, changing in habits of buying and renting have hit the survivor stores, but it's not over yet. All you read of this days is the death of the video store, says Wendy Chamberlain, co-owner of Brooklyn Videology. Article after article about people mourning the death of the video store again and again, over and over, even though it's not dead. Yet there's a general impression held by customers, pundits, and onion video markets so that the store remains have to adjust expectation, business models, and strategies. And a customer client that hasn't yet recognized and championed the video store as a vital cultural resource, the way we did with similarly dire once upon a time indie bookstores and record stores. When I get to decide how I look at video store survivors, we're going to make a go of it. So this whole article is written for an actual documentary someone's doing, by the way.
Okay. I had watched a video about a store called World Video.
Yeah, it mentions that in this too. That's one of the ones that I already said. No, I didn't say it, but World Video is the one. Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, it was in Connecticut. It's closed down now.
It's a parking lot. Good place for a video store.
But the people there were very upset that their video store was closing.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who owned it, he seemed like a very nice guy, and he seemed like he had made the decision a while ago to close down. It just wasn't viable to keep it going anymore. But you could tell that he was very sad about closing the store. And he had late fees too, but a lot of times he just wouldn't even make you pay him. He really just didn't really care. And I think when you get like a mom and pop's video store, you are more likely to find rarer movies,
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about going into a video store
Mm-hmm.
back in the day and looking through all the movies.
Yeah, just looking around, browsing.
Just looking through everything. It's almost like you become more familiar with film that way and the movies. And instead of going to Netflix and sitting down and have them recommending you things that you don't even give a shit about, and pushing, not even recommending you shit anymore. Now they just push their original content, like Unicorn Store. Thank you for bringing that up.
Or the Obama documentary and Obama show.
Well, there's a lot of people from Obama's administration that are on that Netflix board now.
Yeah.
Because they're using it as a tool to push an agenda.
Yeah.
But just looking, movies you didn't even you may never rent. I remember going in, and some of the movies I knew that they were there, but as you start to rent more and more, and you get, the horror section is usually the smallest section. Yeah. And next thing you know, you're like, well, I remember I've been staring at the cover of this movie for months now. I might as well check it out. And next thing you know, you're like, why didn't I watch this movie sooner? I love this movie.
Yeah, one of the things I will mention a positive for the Blockbuster that was here besides the home video. That Blockbuster did have a huge horror section for some reason. I have no idea why they did. They had a huge horror section. And I remember when I was in there one time, I saw this like random thing I never would have picked up otherwise. It was actually a Lovecraft adaptation of I fucking don't remember what it's called. It was called something like The Endless Sleep or whatever. And what it
Mhm.
was like an indie budget thing, and Tom Savini was actually in it.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, you see, like, uh, I probably would, because I like film now,
Hmm.
but video stores played a big part in that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you get to read, when you read the back of the box,
Yeah.
a name like Tom Savini will pop up, and you're like, who the
Yeah.
fuck is? I don't know who the fuck that is. But the more you get involved, the more boxes you read and stuff like that. Especially
Hmm.
if like it's like makeup effects by Tom Savini and shit like that, you get a
Hmm.
lot more than you do like on Netflix when they give you their, one sentence synopsis of what
Yeah.
something is. And it really isn't about that at all,
No.
whatever they're fucking
And
pushing.
the whole thing too, at least I find it visually appealing that the thing with video stores was as well, was that you got to see like the cover art of something and the box or the outside case would sell you sometimes just how crazy it could look.
Yes.
I mean
Choosing your
the
choosing
film
your
could be good or
movie.
bad, but it's just like the box sells you a little bit too.
Yeah, it's choosing your movie based on box art is never a good idea.
No.
But you have to
Enticing you.
learn that lesson.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to learn that lesson than going to the video store and looking through all the box art and seeing, because that's how I would pick things.
Hmm.
I would check out, I'd be like, oh, look at this box art. Let me see this, turn it around, check out the pictures on the back, read the synopsis, put it down. And maybe I'm going to get it. Maybe I'm not. I'll come back for it.
Yeah.
Move on down the line
Yeah.
and get this and get that. But now with Netflix, you don't, there's something nostalgic about it, right?
Yeah.
And nostalgia can be a hindrance to a lot of things. Like you
Yeah.
see a lot of 80s nostalgia now in
Mhm.
film, and people are like, oh, we're going to go back to the 80s. People love the 80s, but they hate Ronald Reagan. It's so fucking weird. Everybody wants to go back to the 80s. The nostalgia can be a killer, but
But what's actually interesting though too is if you have someone that has no ties to that nostalgia, but they have the same experience of going to a video store and then,
yeah.
learning themselves like, oh, this is what people used to do. This is what they did. They didn't just click instantly. They had to look through things. They had
Hmm.
to see things. I mean, it's the same way with libraries in a certain way too, because people, physical media is becoming more and more a thing that people don't want anything to do with. They
Yeah.
just want things like instant or digital or everything else. And I think it's
Um,
a real shame with a lot of stuff.
some of the customers that they were interviewing in that video that I watched for World Video,
Mhm.
they were talking about how it's more personable
Mhm.
when you go to the store, when you go and you can like ask people like what's a good movie, and you can see like recommendations from the people that work there, and you can talk to them about
Mhm.
movies, and you can find out movies that you didn't even know existed that they have. And you don't get that on Netflix.
No.
They've got like a cult section on Netflix, but I'm almost certain that they don't know what that fucking word means
No.
because they put their own movies in there.
Yeah, of course they do.
Netflix put its own movies in the cult section because nobody was fucking watching
Oh, it's a cult classic. Look at it, guys. No, it's not. It's your trash. Get your trash out of the cult section.
them. And that's not to say that some stuff that Netflix puts out isn't good. They do have some things that I like on there, but for the most part, it's real trash.
Hmm.
Oh, you get the same thing with like Prime and
Yeah.
Hulu, and and because there's like no real rating system, like
Mhm.
you constantly get, you're gonna get a season 2 of this show, or you're gonna get a sequel of this original content
Yeah.
because you are paying a subscription, and they're
Yeah.
gonna get that money every month anyway. So
Yeah.
it gives them more of, it allows them to pump out more and more trash.
Yeah.
And because they don't have ratings, or Netflix rarely releases it, I think they released their ratings for Bird Box at some point. It was like the
Ugh.
first time that they had released them.
Mhm.
And they said they were, I think it was like 26 million people or something, but that does not seem like a lot for
No.
Netflix. And I'm not sure if they count repeat viewings or anything like that.
Who
So,
knows?
um, I made it. I'm late because babies are little Jews. Nah, that's why I don't have one. The 80s nostalgia is born of frustration at the utter depravity and stupidity of the current year and the millennials and Zoomers infesting it. Says Groom. Clausen says Netflix animated Godzilla was good. I like the futuristic take on it, and the characters weren't flat. Um,
Let me see here.
Prime over Netflix, says Clausen. High Shadow. Weeb says, I'm sick of those cunts. They keep raising the prices.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do.
I would say if you are a horror fan or you like independent movies or anything else, don't have your Netflix subscription get Shudder.
Yeah, that's why there's not a lot of horror on Netflix because Shudder bought them all up. Shudder's got all the rights to them.
Hmm.
And like Netflix, you'd think like, okay, it's October, right?
Yeah.
Everybody does some kind of special for Halloween or something. Netflix will just completely ignore Halloween.
Hmm.
They will ignore October, and you'll get nothing, and then it'll be December, and they'll release some horror movie. And you're like, what the fuck is going on over here? Because they're all fucked up. It's all mixed up.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna continue reading the article a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah, the general impression held by consumer pundits let's say the main adjacent. Let's see. I read that. When I decided to look up how video store survives, I made a go of it. I had an imagination of spiritual sequel to this piece of declining physical media, where one talked about several video labels and found roughly the same recipes for continued success. Slates of special titles, heavy on bonus features, geared towards collectors. And the formula has become clear early in the reporting. This time, the process was inverted. The more people I talked to, the more I realized that, as Scarecrow Video's Kate Barr puts it, there is no one-size-fits-all solution, because that is a beautiful thing about video stores. They serve the community they're in. So what's going to work for the Seattle community is not going to translate to a Lansing, Michigan. In some markets, video stores have had to add bells and whistles. Others have to repurpose themselves to communities centrals or libraries, community centers or libraries, so they don't, more so rent them than actually have like viewings or all this other shit.
Right.
And here's the biggest surprise of all: they haven't changed a damn thing. Not a thing.
I watched a video on Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big store. It almost looks like it should be a bookstore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's they've got see, this is the other thing about like a mom and pop's video store, right?
Yeah.
They can split the films up into whatever genres they want to come up with.
Yeah.
And Scarecrow has an entire section called Bruceploitation, which is made up of all the movies that came out after Bruce Lee's death with all the fake Bruce Lees.
Oh man.
You got Bruce Lee and Bruce Lowe and all these people pretending that they're Bruce Lee. I mean, you wouldn't get that even at a Blockbuster store.
No.
And you're certainly not going to get that shit on Netflix.
No.
And who would think like, hey, because this is the first time I'm hearing of the Bruceploitation.
You've never heard of it before?
No, I haven't. I knew that there were movies. There were a couple films that came out that had like fake Bruce Lees and shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm hearing about it from a video store,
mm-hmm.
Now I want to search that out even more and see more of those films.
See how many people don't look like Bruce Lee, but they're trying to pass him off as Bruce Lee.
Yes. Porky says he's Bruce Lee.
Okay. A customer browsed the shelves at Free Video Bookland and Jason. Let's see. Before we go further on how today's successful video stores are surviving, a bit of history. The first video stores, and no one can agree exactly where we got there, first popped up in 1977. Not long after the first home video distributor, Magnetic Video, acquired the rights to 50 titles from 20th Century Fox and released them for a hefty priced videotapes. These initial videos or rental clubs were often incorporated into pre-existing spaces like record stores and electronic dealers. As VCRs became more prevalent, from 1.9 million American households in the 1980s to 64 million by the end of the decade. The standalone video store became ubiquitous. Studios were initially reluctant to embrace the video technology in video stores, fearing both would take a bite of theatrical revenue. but they quickly realized that the afterlife of their products could achieve in the home viewing sphere, and by 1987, revenue from home video had topped theatrical box offices. Think about that.
Hmm.
Around this
You
time,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
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 go
you go
ahead.
ahead.
Keep
No.
reading.
Okay. Around this time, the video chain called Blockbuster was starting to explode. It grew from a single location in 1985 to 94 in 1987 to over 1,600 stores in 44 states in 1991. So that's how
Wow, they've been
Blockbuster.
around since '85.
Yeah,
God damn.
they were around for a long time,
They
but
so they started as like a mom and pop store.
yes,
Okay. And
before
then
they
they
became a chain. Yeah.
corporate,
So
yeah, the corporate chain took over.
yeah. Their strategy was simple: a uniform store design with wide aisles, bright colors, and clean shelves deep with new releases, which the chain usually acquired via shared revenue arrangements with video distributors rather than buying those tapes outright, as their smaller competitors had to do. So when you were going to like a mom and pop video store, that's what they would do, is they would buy the individual titles
Hmm.
by going through and buying the rights to them. Where Blockbuster had a revenue agreements, like the arrangement, so that some of the revenue they made would go back to them, unlike the others that bought them fully. So you're seeing a bit of why that's a bad practice, right?
Right. Yeah. I think I heard somewhere that eventually Blockbuster was making more off selling merchandise than it was in video rental.
Possibly.
Because the Blockbuster mine went in there one day and an entire section had been cleared out, and it was movie posters and popcorn and DVDs for sale and all those like extra DVDs that they could put out for rent.
Mhm.
They were selling them instead. And late fees also count as merchandise and
Yeah.
shit like that. Uh, Blockbuster has nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
You had a chance to buy Netflix. Your business practices were bad. It took them forever to get rid of late fees. And then
Yeah.
eventually they just charged you anyway. You
Yeah.
just bought the film.
Yeah.
Um, Fright Supremacist brings up a good point. 26 million might have watched Bird Box, but how many liked it?
Yeah.
That's the same. Yeah, that's a good point. It's the same with a theater. You know, a movie makes 60 million, but that doesn't mean all of the people who saw it liked that
Liked it.
film.
Yeah.
I'm going to put out the link for the Hangouts, which
Okay.
may be a mistake.
Okay.
But if you guys would like to come on and discuss your video rental experiences or how you feel about video rental stores, what they mean to you, or drive-in or anything, you guys are more than welcome to come on. Just make sure your fucking mic works. I don't want to have to kick anybody.
I'll do it instead.
It's very awkward. Do you have that power?
Do I have that power? I have all
Okay,
the powers.
you got all the powers. God Emperor Gene. Uh, Bruce Lee in Chinese Gods, 1976. Bruce Lee is resurrected as a god with a third eye to help a group of good gods defeat some bad demons.
What the fuck?
I'm okay with that. Um, Hawk says, Gene, I forbid you to talk about Black Scorpion. We can't have Jenova show it.
Yeah, that's because I was showing Black Scorpion, and
Yes.
so that's another streaming site I would recommend to people too. If you don't want to do anything else, free streaming site, Shout Factory.
Yes. Shout Factory TV
Yes.
is a good place to go. It's got a lot of old cheesy stuff on there. I had forgotten about it, but recently I remembered it because we're doing Kaiju on Monday.
Yeah.
And a lot of times Shout Factory will they will do kaiju marathons, or they'll do Mystery Science Theater marathons.
Yeah.
Right now they've got Chopping Mall on there, free to watch. All you gotta do is put in your birth date. It's very easy. I've been watching Black Scorpion on there.
Yeah, he has. He's been watching it more than I have. I've seen the first episode. That's about it. I want to share it with you guys because he's going to talk about it.
I'm 9 episodes deep in Black Scorpion.
Yeah.
I'm going to come on now just to make you kick me, Hawk. You son of a bitch. Don't you dare. Cindy says, there's a rental store in my area, but I don't think for much longer. Yeah, I mean, stores like that, those mom and pop video rental stores, they're going strong 1 minute and then the next minute they're
It dries up.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I had a video rental store around me, I would definitely use it.
If I
I would
had the
definitely.
means, chat, if I had the way to have an HDMI cable attached to a VCR, plug that shit in, and have a bunch of tapes, I'd show you guys shit all the time.
You should get one of those.
I
You should definitely do that. That would be great.
mean, I don't have a bunch of VHS tapes. That'd probably be expensive too.
It was a joke to Hawk jump on. Hawk, it was a joke. No, now you got to jump on, Hawk. Strog says Starbucks could open up a rental section for hipsters.
Oh God.
It's funny when I was watching the Scarecrow video. That's who, because it's in Seattle.
Yeah.
So that's who you saw in there. Were a lot of hipsters walking around like it was a bookstore. And the guy who owns it is a fucking hipster. But the World Video was in a smaller town, and there were no hipsters there. They were just normal people who were very sad that the store was closing. One old lady said she was upset because, and this is in like 2015, I think. And she said, soon they're going to be piping the movies into your TV. I don't want to be piped into. And I'm like, where have you been, lady? You just can't.
They pipe.
Like when you drop off your rentals, they've got that like little box you can pull open and you don't even have to go into the store. This fucking guy at World Video, he's got just a little board set up on this one opening, and it just all the movies just drop right into a box, a cardboard box. And then when he only does it for when the store's closed, and then when it's time to open, he takes this little wooden board and puts it down and removes the cardboard box. It's very, it's not corporate at all.
No.
And all the people who work there, like they're not wearing shirts or name tags or anything like that. They work there because they've got, there's something defining about them. I can't remember what it was.
They got Bruce Campbell's signature autograph on their bag. They start quoting movies instantly. They're just random around dressed as people from movies. Can you imagine a video store that did that? Like everyone's dressed up like they're from fucking like any movie at any time. Like it's a theme, just like that day. Like it's Evil Dead. There's just random scenes where they'll be like around in blood and all this other shit. Walking into that video store would be awesome.
Yeah,
and
you're
here for the romance section, right? Baby, give me
some. Evil Dead is a romantic comedy. Evil Dead 2, I should say.
Yeah.
But apparently World Video had a lot of celebrities that would go there. Joey Pantoliano, or whatever his name is, Pantoliano. Yeah. He showed up in the video because he was there filming for something. And apparently World Video is kind of famous in that area. It's in Connecticut.
Yeah, you told me it's in the parking lot state. I know.
Yeah. And they were going up there. Some other celebrities that showed up because people just want to, it's been a long time since people have been to a video store, and it's the one in the area, and they've heard a lot about this video store. And it was a very small store. Maybe, think of your average Blockbuster. It's maybe half that size, but they've got better movies, probably better movies you want to watch. They've got more interesting genre sections. The people who work there are more personable and they're knowledgeable about film. You don't get that at Blockbuster.
No. Speaking of Blockbuster, I'll move back on to what I was talking about. Their full walls and big new titles explain Daniel Herbert and his invaluable history, Videoland, movie culture at the American Video Store, created video stores that operated like contemporaneous movie theaters, with new releases dominating and opening weekends driving customers in the store. Competitors like Movie Gallery and Hollywood Video followed suit, taking down even more indie stores. But the disruptor was waiting in the wings. Since the dawn of video stores, additional rental fees for overdue tapes and discs had proved a healthy revenue stream for owners and an irritation for their clientele. Let's see, I just skipped it by accident.
An
uh,
irritation.
an irritation for the clientele. Let's see.
Groom says the weird little video shops were often run by movie freaks. They'd have
Yeah.
stuff nobody else heard of. Exactly.
In
And Netflix isn't going to put that shit up.
No. In 1997, a Blockbuster customer, annoyed by a $40 late fee for a VHS copy of Apollo 13, was inspired to start a mail-order DVD rental service. His name was Reed Hastings, and his company, Netflix, became the David to Blockbuster's Goliath. Customers liked the company's convenience, deep well of titles, and subscriptions rather than daily rental model. Blockbuster, which had passed up the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million in 2000, would spend the rest of the decade clumsily trying to replicate their success via their own mail order service and in store subscription options. And
Hmm.
later, the chain of standalone kiosks in the style of their new another rival, Redbox. They all failed. When Movie Gallery, Hollywood, and Blockbuster closed up shop in early 2010s, it felt like the end of an era. This perception created a fall of those giants wasn't the only factor. DVD, which began to supplement VHS as the primary delivery system from home media around the turn of the century, was the less ideal rental project, mathematically speaking, with new releases of VHS were priced for retail at upwards of $100, but the immediate low selling prices of DVDs, roughly $20, made for serious film fans more likely to buy than rent. And there were plenty of retail stores, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, that were more than happy to clear a few shelves for them.
The story of Blockbuster is always a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
You had a chance to buy Netflix, you didn't. Then you realized you should have. So you start your own video service, your own mail video service,
Mhm.
and that doesn't fucking work. I'm surprised they don't. Is there a Blockbuster streaming service?
No.
No. Okay. So they're just still kind of. How many Blockbusters are left? They're all in
There
Alaska and Oregon, right?
I think there's only 4 stores left. And
Jesus
they
Christ.
were bought out by original company owners or people that had been like general managers of those stores.
Right.
They're not technically Blockbuster stores anymore. They're basically independently owned by these people. They bought the properties that fucking Blockbuster rented for stupid money.
Uh, I would change the name. I wouldn't call it Blockbuster if I owned it.
I don't think they fully do call them Blockbusters most of the time. They just call them the video stores now or whatever.
Yes, Blockbuster has a streaming service. They are owned
Oh,
by
do they?
DirecTV,
Oh, okay.
says Rock.
I did not
Uh,
know that.
yeah, I remember something along like when the whole Netflix Blockbuster thing started, there was some talk of Blockbuster in the works with DirecTV to get something going there as well.
Okay, so that probably explains why the company is not fully folded then.
Yeah, that could be it, definitely. But I don't know who does anybody have a Blockbuster streaming subscription? I don't know how it works, but I don't know anybody who's like, oh, I don't have Netflix or Prime or Hulu. I
I've
actually
got
have a
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. People are like, if you told me you had Blockbuster, I would think you still had a Blockbuster store near you and you were renting your videos. Hawk says it's a bit like Woolsworth in the UK, still called Woolworths, but owned by former employees.
Yeah, well, there was. I mean,
And stay out of the Woolworths.
Woolworth is also in the United States as well. They still have some stores here too.
They do VOD rental. Okay.
Okay.
I just I remember in the summer
Mm,
I would rent movies every day from Blockbuster.
yeah.
Every single fucking day. And they would have, rent 2, get 1 free.
Yeah, they try to entice you with a lot of deals like that.
Right. And you could
And then there was also like the fact they give you like large popcorn if you paid an extra dollar or whatever.
yeah, they there was always some because it was very when you got closer to the front, it was very much sort of like a theater where it's all
Yeah.
got the candy and the popcorn
Yeah.
and stuff like that. For
And they
you to
can
buy.
entice you with deals and everything else, like, oh, your Blockbuster card this or your blah 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 that.
I
There
used to
was
rent PS2 games from mine, says Hawk. That's right too. Eventually, they started putting games in as well.
There was a one at the video store, the other one I was talking about, the home video, where they had a card, right?
Mhm.
This card, every time you rented something, you'd get stars.
Right.
They pop out like they have like a pop out thing for the stars.
Like a hole
And
punch.
yeah, like hole punch. And when you got to like 5 or 10 stars after renting, they let you rent something. Like you could rent anything for free.
Oh, even a new movie?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times there would be for when Blockbuster would do stuff like that, there would always be some kind of stipulation. Anything in this area you can get for free. You
No,
don't none of the new ones you
that
can
video
get.
store was cool because they let you say this like anything if you did this for free because we value as a customer.
Yes. But when you're Blockbuster, you're corporate, you like as much as you might value your customer,
Yeah, they
you're
value
not
their
as
money. That's all they valued.
right, exactly. And there's always going to be a new customer. It's not like World Video or Scarecrow or anything like that, where
Mm,
the guy who owns it, he knows everybody who comes in.
yeah,
Oh, you're here for, oh, how'd you like that last movie?
yeah,
How'd you like? Well, if you like that one, I've got another recommendation for you if you
yeah,
want to get that, And some guy, he might not even be there for the recommendation,
yeah.
but because he liked the first one, he's going to walk out with two movies now.
Hmm. Or he might tell them about some kind of film festival that's going on,
True,
possibly,
yes.
or tell them about like, oh, hey, I just got this new shit from the Cannes festival. I think you'll really like it if you like that last thing.
Right.
I haven't even put it on the shelf yet, but I got it just for you because I thought you'd like it.
Yeah. You don't get that in fucking
No,
Blockbuster.
that's something you
No.
get from community video stores, and
Ex-
that's
Exactly. It's that whole personable thing that people were
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Um, Developing your film taste was a lot more intimate.
Hmm.
I guess you could
And
say.
you got to know the people you were buying it from. You got to,
Yes.
be friendly with them. They valued you as a customer. They valued you as part of their community and everything else.
Uh, Porky says in the early 80s, there were people filming movies on VHS.
Yep.
Some of them low budget movies were distributed through rental stores. That's right. You could
Yep.
go out, you could film your own movie, and you could have it on the shelf of a rental store.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people that did that. There's a couple famous directors and stuff that made their living or became their films became popular because they bypassed all the big wigs, made their own film, and put it in themselves into the
Yep.
stores. You can't get that on Netflix.
No.
Although there is that South Park episode with Netflix. Thank you for calling Netflix. You're greenlit.
Yeah, you're greenlit. Yeah, that they try to greenlight everything because
Yeah,
they're so fucking desperate.
yeah, and they don't know, and they've got all this money because the money is a given. Every month you're going to pay it, so it doesn't fucking really matter what they put out. I can't remember who brought it up. Somebody brought up Unicorn Store from Cheese Larson,
Hmm.
and that film is fucking terrible.
Yeah, Clausen brought it up.
Yes, and that's just one. That's
Yeah.
just one of the many terrible original Netflix films you'll get.
Hmm.
Like I said, not to say that they don't have. Netflix has a really good show that I like on there called Mine Hunters,
Yeah.
which is about FBI profiling and the history of it, and they
Hmm.
interview serial killers and everything.
But would you think Mindhunters would do better on something besides Netflix if it was anywhere else?
Um,
Like even on regular television?
Maybe it would have to be. Well, that depends. It wouldn't be able to be on regular television because it's a hard R for sure.
Well, it could be on like HBO or one of
Yes, if it
those.
was on HBO or something like that, then Mindhunters would do great. I mean, things like True Detective
Mhm.
did very well on HBO. Game of Thrones does very well on HBO.
Yeah.
But when you get a Prime
Mhm.
or you get a Netflix, it's a lot harder, especially like the browsing,
Mhm.
right? When you go into the rental store, you browse through all the videos, the cover arts, and
Mhm.
everything like that. On Netflix, it's just a picture.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's a stupid fucking picture.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you really want to look at it or anything like that. And you just kind of sit there and you scroll.
Mhm.
and you scroll and then you click on something and you read your one sentence synopsis and you don't even really know if you want to watch it or not.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's a trap to get you to click on it, because the
Yeah.
minute you click on it, that's
You
a
buy it, yeah.
view. Boom, it's there.
Yeah.
But when
What
you rent,
do you think would be better if they just had, like, small little teasers instead where you could just look at that instead of, look at the
yeah,
stupid
yeah,
scrolling option? Like, see, like, "Oh, show a teaser. Do I really care about this? Show me small bits." I think that probably would be better. I'll,
it, I cannot see them implementing that. There will be, like, when they're pushing some new show that they've made or some new movie, and like, because when I don't have Netflix anymore, but when I used to, you'd click on it, you go to the homepage, and all of a sudden a trailer is playing for
mm,
some new thing that you don't even really give a fuck about.
yeah.
And the volume, I always had the volume off, because you could never just like click and be like, I don't care about this, you know?
Yeah.
And see, what I would do in Netflix is once you watch a bunch of videos, the
Mhm.
recommendations become worse and worse and worse. So after a week or something of watching videos, I would erase all my watch history, and all the better films would get bumped up to the top. And some stuff I had already seen and some stuff I hadn't. But that's what happens with Netflix. Instead
Mm.
of you go to your what the most you're going to get at a Blockbuster or something is they're going to go, "Oh, the horror section is over there now." And you can walk into the horror. But when you go to the horror section, it's going to be those same. Sometimes there'll be new ones,
Mhm.
but it's going to be those same movies that you're familiar with that you haven't bought yet or
Mhm.
anything like that. Not in the recommendations for Netflix,
Mhm.
because the more I watched, the worse the recommendations get.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're not even being recommended. I said this earlier, but eventually you're not even being recommended things that have anything to do with what you just watched. You just watched a horror movie about a werewolf. You'd think they'd recommend you more werewolf
Yeah,
movies.
like, say you watch The Howling, you think you would recommend to you, like, any werewolf movie, and then instead it's like, Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, all that kind of shit. And it's because it's got that corporate money in there. They're trying to push things. People are paying to be on the front page,
Mhm.
or they're paying to get recommended and stuff like that, or anything similar to that. And the personable thing, the reason Netflix is so successful is because if I had a Netflix account like most people do, or a Prime or Hulu or any type of streaming service,
Mhm.
you just go in, click, your movie plays.
Yeah.
It's convenient,
Mhm.
but we sacrifice a lot for the convenience.
Yeah.
And I understand the convenience being good for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And everybody's got their own screens now, so you don't have to go to a drive-in. You don't have to go to a video store. You don't have to go
But
to a
there's
theater.
there's the thing, though. There's a love for drive-ins that a lot of Americans used to have, and I
Hmm.
think it's something that's really special when you go to a drive-in, when
I
you know,
suppose.
especially when there's things with drive-ins that, you'd see movies you wouldn't expect to see in the normal theaters all the time. You could see a lot of stuff that was, grindhouse-ish, cultish, or anything. You could see a lot of different stuff,
Hmm.
and then oftentimes, if you paid a little extra, it'd be a double feature.
Yes, very true. And you got to sit in the comfort of your own car.
Bring
You
your
could
own snacks.
bring your own fucking snack. And if you didn't bring your own snacks, you could walk over to the
Just eat
concession and get food. There was a drive-in. I don't know what it's called now, but I watched a little video on a drive-in. I think it's in Charlotte.
Charlotte,
Uh,
Virginia,
Charlotte.
Georgia.
mm, it's a southern state.
Okay.
But this guy and his wife, they
Mhm.
own four.
Mm.
They own two drive-ins, they own a theater, and they own a rental store.
Wow.
And they make, like, the food at the concession is
Mhm.
all made. They make it in their kitchen and shit.
Wow.
They make it all themselves. And the guy makes the food and he sells the tickets, and the wife runs one of the other places, and they've got all these people. And he knows everybody who comes in.
Mhm.
You show up with your ticket and he tell you, okay, just right up to the front, stuff like that. That's the
Yep.
other thing, like parking and all
Yeah.
that stuff in the. And one of the coolest things about a drive-in, because I was very small. Whenever Witches came out,
Mhm.
I might have been like 5 or 6 or something. But when you get out of the car to go to the concession, you get to see like the screen and it's just standing there and it looks massive.
Yep.
And you can see all these rows of cars and everybody's got the speakers,
Yep.
in the car and
Yep.
everything like that. I understand, during a time when drive-ins were bigger, a lot of teenagers go there. Uh, you know, you can
Yeah.
fool around in the comfort of your own car.
Yep.
You can, yeah, if you're into the Christian herb, you can smoke herb in your car.
You could smoke in your car regularly too, which you couldn't really do in theaters as well.
Right, exactly. So there is,
And it was always
I
sometimes a family experience too, where you could bring the whole
yes,
family.
very
Everybody
true.
could be there, and for cheaper than you get for the theater. Wouldn't have to weigh in the seats and everything else because the theaters have gotten like stupidly expensive. Drive-ins, I think, have actually remained the same price since they were in the 80s. I don't think they're as expensive still.
I haven't been into a fucking,
I haven't for a
I
long
haven't
time
been
either,
to a
but I want
theater
to.
in
I mean, not a
years.
theater, drive-in. The only time I went to a theater more recently was for the It movie, but that's like the
You saw
last
that
thing I've
in
seen.
theaters?
Yes.
Was it worth it?
I'd say it was.
Was
Yeah,
it
I
worth the
liked it.
price of a ticket?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you go to the concession?
Yeah, I bought my own shit.
Yeah, because like a hot dog there is like
I didn't
$4.
I didn't buy a hot dog. I just bought candy.
Well, just I mean, candy's expensive too.
I know,
They
but
bump the prices up on
it's
everything.
not. It wasn't stupid expensive. Let me put it that way.
Sweets arrives and now they're talking about degeneracy. I was talking about degeneracy, let's face it. Um, but I haven't been to a theater in fucking years, and I can't imagine what it's like to go to a theater now and just sit in that fucking chair for 2.5 hours,
Three if you're
watch
watching
them.
the end game.
Right, watching a movie that you probably, I don't know. Most movies that come into theaters, I'm like, yeah, why would I waste $10 for a ticket on that
Hmm.
when I could just pirate it? Or
And
even if you don't pirate, you just wait for it to come out.
do you know, but most of the time it's no longer $10. It's like $20 a ticket for a seat.
$20 a fucking ticket now.
Yeah.
So if you're a family, let's say you're a family of 4,
Mhm.
it's near like you're
a
spending
hundred
like,
bucks.
yeah, with
Yeah.
concessions and ticket prices and
Yeah.
everything like that. Holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
Just to see a movie you may like, you may not like. And look, I understand. You buy the chicken, you get the bones, right?
Yeah.
So it's a risk you take.
Mhm.
It's like ice cream. Like, I don't know if I've ever had that flavor. Well, if you don't like that flavor, too fucking bad. You
Tough
paid
titty.
for it. Yeah, you can't get your money back. But especially the way I feel about the film industry
Mhm.
and how much I fucking despise
Me as
Hollywood.
well. Me as well.
I just can't. I can't reconcile with myself or justify
I
spending
hate
that
the
kind of
film
money.
industry, but I love films. It's really funny.
I have a very deep appreciation for film.
Yeah.
Uh, and Hollywood wasn't always as bad as it is now. But now it's almost like they're not making film
No.
anymore. I've talked about this before, but there's no heart or passion in what they're doing. It's a propaganda fucking outlet now.
Mhm.
And you can just tell they show up, here are your lines. Okay, we're all in front of a fucking green screen. You'll add in the effects later because the people who are really
Yeah.
doing the work are the CGI people.
Yeah.
And good filmmaking that's not worth $20 a ticket um, is not around anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's all good filmmaking, good writing, good acting. It's all been replaced. It's
Mhm.
all been replaced with special effects and CGI.
Mhm.
And
I still say there are gems from time to time, but they're rare. More rare now than
every
they ever
now and
used to
then,
be.
sure. And a lot of times they don't have CGI in it, or a lot of times it'll be a low budget director or something like that who made a film, got
Mhm.
noticed by Hollywood, so they gave him a budget to do something, and it'll be good, you know.
Or it could be
Be-
Guillermo del Toro and not be good.
yes, well, Meryl del Toro really he's very similar into Peter Jackson,
Mhm.
where he kind of started not so bad.
I don't know. I really didn't
Uh,
like Mimic.
um, The Devil's Backbone is not bad.
Okay.
A bad Guillermo del Toro film, but slowly it becomes they just go off in this direction. You go, what the fuck are you doing? Who
Mhm.
are you now?
Yeah.
And it's because they want that award, they want that next job, they want that budget to come in. Because the minute you have a film flop, you're done.
Mhm.
Why should we give you a $400 million budget?
Unless you're Disney, then you have films that flop.
Sure. And of course, there is the whole, you fail upwards
Mhm.
in the business, because why else would Kathleen Kennedy have a fucking job?
Yeah.
And when you've got people like Kathleen Kennedy pumping out the trash they do into theaters,
Mhm.
um, I just I can't justify paying that much or going to a theater and sitting. Okay, so it's okay if you like Endgame. It's okay. I don't have a problem if you like Marvel Disney films, but I can't imagine myself sitting in a packed theater full of Marvel nerds watching Endgame. I would feel like an outsider. I would feel like a stranger. It wouldn't feel like
You know what would be worse if you're there and it's mostly just parents and their kids, and the only reason they're seeing it's because their kids want to see it. Because oh, they love the Marvel movies. They're so good.
yeah. And that's fine. You're gonna take your kids. That's cool. I understand that. You every now and then you've got to take your kids to see a film they want to see.
Mhm.
Uh, One time I went to the movies with my parents, and I was young. It was the '90s, and they wanted to see a film, but I wanted to see something else.
Mhm.
So they were like, "What do you want to see? Do you want to see this, or do you want to see Hackers?" And I was like, "I want to see
Of
Hackers."
course, it was fucking Hackers. I knew
So
that's
we
what it
all
was
went
gonna
to
be.
go see Hackers, and my parents hated it, and I fucking loved it.
I'd
Um,
be with your parents. I mean,
of course you do. Hackers is great. Uh,
I can
but
understand
but
why
that
your old
film,
show is called Trash Tuesday. Now it's all making more sense to me the more we talk.
listen, on Trash Tuesday, it was all kinds of trash. I even watched like Hackers 2 on there one
Oh
time.
Jesus.
Uh, but my point about that is that I don't get the I mean, I haven't been, but even after that, before I stopped going when I was in high school or anything like that, I didn't get those same experiences as the theater started to evolve into something different,
Hmm.
and not this place where you could where because not everything went straight to video, not everything went
No.
straight to DVD.
Nope.
Things that would normally now go straight to DVD or straight to video, they would get released in
Yep.
theaters, and you could pick up little gems like that, and it would be worth the price.
Yep.
But wait, there was a fucking sequel. Sweets, there is Hackers 2 and Hackers 3, if
Oof.
I remember correctly. Hack the Planet. Strog says Avengers End lame. Sweet says 15:45 for a film is not justified, especially when I can't stand people in general that sit in a crammed theater room too. That's the other thing. Now, if I went to a theater, I'd be sitting near an exit in case some fucking weirdo walked in and started shooting everybody.
The
Uh,
Joker is always the greatest villain. Ah.
Strog says only good experience I had at the theaters was watching Avatar. See, I could see. I don't personally like Avatar, but I could see that being a good film experience for people who do, especially if you. I imagine you saw it in 3D, right, Strog? So, and what are those big theaters now? The big 3D theaters,
Oh,
IMAX.
IMAX. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when IMAX was for, like a science museum, because I used to go to the
Mhm.
science museum, and they'd be like, watch the dinosaurs in IMAX, and you'd go and it'd be
And
this
you
big.
wonder why there was no feathers on the dinosaurs. Obviously.
No, I didn't. I not at that time. No, I
Now
was
you know
just.
the now
I
you know
was.
the truth.
I was just amazed at this giant sort of almost domed theater that went around you and everything like that.
Mhm.
And now it's like, hey, go to an IMAX and see a 3D film. No, I don't wanna. You can't fucking make me. Yup, had actual good 3D. Yeah, because James Cameron spent like a decade developing the technology for it.
I
I had my
developed all the technology. It's my baby.
fright supremacist said I had my first kiss in the movie theater. Don't remember the movie, but doesn't matter. Good point. I could tell you some. Listen, I don't know if I want to tell this story or not.
Oh god. So
So
that
I
means
don't
he's
think I'm. So I
that
don't think
means
I'm gonna.
then why'd you mention it? That's an Esau there. You're telling something and not fucking
Well, it
doing it.
reminded me of something that Fright said, and then I was like, well, maybe I should tell. Maybe I should tell it, but I don't think I
The
will.
chat's gonna bully you into telling it now.
Might have been Space Jam, says Fright. If Chad bullies me, then maybe I'll tell it. But I don't think it's not worth bullying me to get to tell the story. Uh, when Groom says went to the science museum, your lunch money, give it to me now. I would go to the science museum even out of high school because the science museum we have here in Akron is fucking awesome. Tell it, don't go full Esau Jenova. Tell it. One for him to tell it. If we get enough ones, I'll tell. I'm telling you, you're gonna just sit here and end up calling me a degenerate and shit like that. Tell it, pencil dick, says Zach. Pencil neck, he said.
Pencil neck.
Space Jam. I hope the kiss wasn't during the R. Kelly song, says Strog. Shut up and give me your money, Jenova. Do it, Jen Saw. All right, fine. There's a lot of ones in the chat.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so I was dating this girl. We were young. We couldn't even fucking drive. We were close to being able to drive. I would say I'm like a sophomore. We're like sophomores in high school. Uh, but we needed a place to fuck.
Of course you did.
I told you what this story was gonna be.
I knew that's what it was gonna be too. Keep going.
So every fucking Friday, we would get dropped off at the movie theater, and we would see Princess Diaries.
Oh god.
So I've literally bought about 8 tickets twice, like 2 pairs of Princess Diary tickets 8 different times to go into a theater, to then leave the theater, go to the unisex bathroom, and fuck.
Oh my god.
That's the story. Was it worth all the ones? I don't think it was.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, Princess Diary. Degenerate Jenova being a degenerate, mega faggot. X to doubt that it's a girl. X dating this girl. So I have seen Princess Diaries way too many fucking times. I don't know.
What the
I've
fuck
only
is wrong with you?
I've only seen the beginning and the end. I've never seen the middle of Princess.
I see you left when that part was happening. So, oh god. All right.
The real question is, was it worth the ticket sales? At the time, it was because I was a horny teenager. Now, when I look back on it, my hatred for the film industry kind of takes a hold, and I'm like, why did you give them all that fucking money? Especially because Princess Diaries had who's that? She was Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises.
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie is not in any Batman movie.
I don't know what I'm talking about then.
Somebody in chat.
Halle Berry?
No.
I'm wrong too.
I mean, you're closer there because she did play Catwoman. Yeah, whoever plays fucking Catwoman in the Dark Knight Rises.
Never mind.
She's in the Princess Diaries. So
Of course
all
she
I
is.
know is that in the Princess Diaries, some some girl is
Somebody once
related,
told me the
is
word.
royalty, and then at the end she's a princess.
Wonderful.
Anne Hathaway, thank you very much, Cindy. I forgot her name. She's so boring, says Sweets. You're right. Yeah, she's boring, and she's a fucking liberal, and I gave her all that fucking money.
You
Go,
did.
she could fuck
I'm
herself.
gonna go back to the article.
Go ahead. You go back to the article. Everybody try to forget humping in a bathroom. Jenova, I'm not judging you, but God is. A unisex bathroom too. And one time somebody knocked on the door while we were in there,
Oh my god.
and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in here." And then I heard like wheels squeaking away.
Oh, this is an Esau story. Oh my god.
Michelle Pfeiffer was a better Catwoman. I agree,
Yeah,
strong.
Michelle Pfeiffer was.
She definitely was. She was the best one.
Yeah.
Well, fucking Christopher Walken's in that movie too.
Yes, he is. He's the one that
Yeah.
pushes her out the window. Max Shrek.
You'll never live this down, Jenova. Fucking Princess Diaries. Hey, I own it, man. That's what I did. I was a horny 15-year-old.
All right. So those still looking to rent can go to Redbox, which as of 2014 boasted 44 kiosks and 36,000 locations, half the DVD rental market, and 38 of all movie rentals, including VOD. Though even cash now seems to be on the decline. And of course, VOD has recently a healthy bite out of the market, aside from iTunes, Amazon, and other providers of new and catalog releases. There's a ubiquitous Netflix, which introduced the streaming option in 2007, that came to consume nearly a third of the North American downstream internet traffic. With so many ways to watch movies, it's become harder to convince people that leaving the house to get them, and in the process, some of our best video stores begin to feel the burn.
Feel the burn.
Let me scroll past down. Because of those big chains were everywhere, and their failures seemed to indicate the end of an era, casual renters might not have noticed the independent stores were thriving alongside them. Seattle's Scarecrow Video grew from a humble beginnings, 600 tapes, running from the back of a record store, into one of the most eclectic and invaluable film collections in the world. According to Kate Barr, one-time store employee and founding member of the Scarecrow Project, the original owner, Jordan Lados, opened the store in 1988 and built its collection with "we'll take anything" philosophy, and an omnivore's appetite for obscurities. Somebody told me about this incredible rare Japanese laser disc, and he flew to Japan to buy it.
A laser dick?
Laser disc.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I heard laser dick in
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah. You get
Go ahead.
a lot of things on your mind after telling your fucking bathroom story. The
We're trying to
collection
forget that. Go ahead.
the collection became world renowned, and and their most valuable asset. If you walk through the door and pull away a random thing off the shelf, that one item doesn't have any particular value, Barr explains. It means maybe the IRS standards of it is worth like 50 cents, but the value comes at its collection in its totality, seeing it as a whole and its significance as a whole. We have over 120 years of film history and cultural history represented. We have over 1,200, wait, 120.
Numbers,
Yeah,
I know. Numbers are hard.
numbers are hard. I was gonna say 1,200. No, fuck, 100. I fucking don't know how to say this, and it's bugging me. I don't know why the number's hard. Shouldn't be.
Type it into chat.
125,000
125,000.
titles and represented 129 countries. It's always the zeros that get me. Down in Santa Monica, California, the store Vidiots grew from a similarly humble origins to
Oh,
achieve a
that's a
local
good name. That's a good Vidiots.
Vidiots. The store is closed, though. You'll find out in the article. They shut down more recently.
Spoilers.
I know. From their humble origins to achieve local legend status, Patty Podlinger and Kathy Tauber opened the store in 1985, mostly out of frustration with what their local video stores had to offer. Their selection was just so mainstream, Podlinger recalls. And I recall an article in the magazine about the other stores around the country, and they talked about these independent films and video artists, and all the more offbeat things. I was like, wow, we're a film town, and we don't even have any place like that. So that's the kind of that's kind of got the idea going.
Mm-hmm.
Both stores' wide selections of foreign films and obscurities helped them weather the storm of Blockbuster and the other chains, that and the willingness to ride it out. But things started getting sketchy in the late 2000s, and by 2010, Tabor says, we realized that if we don't figure out another income stream, another way to make some money here, we're going to be gone. A Save Vidiots campaign was followed, and for the purpose of charitable fundraising, they started a separate nonprofit organization focusing on the community aspects and events and filmmaker talks and all that. Those fundraising helped, Tabor says, but it was too little and too late because we really were down on a downward spiral. He had all these ideas, but we had no money to implement anything or really do all the things we wanted to do as a nonprofit. And by January of 2015, we announced that we were closing because we realized we were just going further and further into debt. And then an angel appeared, two of them actually. Dr. Leonard M. Lipman, MD, and film producer Megan Ellison, both longtime customers, stepped in and provided funding to keep them going for 2 years. Now we're moving forward, Tabor says. We just celebrated our 30th year anniversary. So, yeah, I forgot they actually recovered. So they are, at least during the writing of this, which was 2017, they were still around. I don't know if they are still, but
That's good still.
a similar problem and solution played out for Scarecrow. Things had been pretty bad for about 5 years before actually putting out a call for help, Barr recalls. But they did in the fall of 2013, resulting in one of the store's most profitable periods in years. It was an amazing response, she says, but the problem was that January came and everything dropped out again. So it was this very concentrated show of support. It became clear that the only way to keep the collection intact, which was always their first priority, was to talk to a nonprofit about acquiring it. And the announcement promoted Barr and two of her coworkers to decide a nonprofit should be at the store itself. They put together a proposal, which the owners accepted. The transition was funded by a successful Kickstarter campaign, with donations pouring in from not only America but around the world.
Yeah,
We got
people
a
want
lot.
their video stores.
Yeah, we got a lot of support. Barr says. In addition to just raising money, we also signaled to us that this collection is significant enough people to who love movies that even if they don't live here, even if they can't access on a daily basis, it's still important for it to be around.
It is important for video stores to be around.
And then
You
it's another pause that goes on to back to
it
the Brooklyn video
feels
store.
it feels like a monopoly on film.
Yeah, there is.
You're gonna go to Netflix, you're gonna go to the theater, you're gonna go to Hulu or Prime, but they're all working together.
Yeah,
They
they're
may
all funded by
be,
these companies that don't give really a fuck about general viewers.
yeah, and for somebody who maybe just wants to, they want to give their money to a local business
Hmm.
instead of a massive corporation or a bunch of people in an industry that they don't really fucking care for.
No.
Uh, it's very hard to do that,
Yeah.
and that type of thing hurts small businesses. And video rental stores are mom and pops.
Yeah.
That's a small business right there.
Yep.
And unless you've got like, unless you're in like a smaller town or even Seattle where Scarecrow is, where you got a lot of hipsters walking around,
Hmm.
in a place where you're local, everybody knows everybody type of place, you're not going to find that shit.
No.
You got to go to Netflix. You've got to go to your theater. And that's the other thing. Like,
Hmm.
theaters used to be less corporate,
Yeah.
and now they're all cinemas or whatever they're fucking called now, or AMC. I don't recommend anybody go to an
No.
AMC unless you want to sit in sticky seats and be surrounded by fucking jigs. But what are they? I've got one near me called Cinema something,
Hmm.
and it's just there's two of them, both within 15, both in different directions, but both within 15 minutes of me.
Hmm.
And it's all corporate shit,
Hmm.
and that's why the prices can go, because you can't go to your local mom and pop's theater either.
No.
All you can't, and then you can't go to your local video store and just wait for it to come out in there. All the money is in one fucking spot, and they're all in touch with each other, and they're all saying, okay, well, you can do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll put it in theaters, and then it'll go straight to Netflix, and it's all under the guise of convenience.
Hmm.
It's easy. It's one click away and all that stuff. Get in your fucking car and drive to the movie store and rent a fucking video. It's not that hard.
No.
Groom says Oats Willie's, combination video and music place and head shop. Uniquely Austin, but the Californian locusts have ruined even that. The closest thing we had to a even a video store where you could find gems
Hmm.
was called the Exchange, and
Hmm.
that was also corporate. There were a lot of different exchanges,
Hmm.
and you could go there and you got DVDs, VHSs, music, all at a really cheap price because it was all like used and
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they didn't take anything that didn't work, and they always checked the discs, and you could get really good, you could find rare, very good quality rare things there,
Hmm.
and even those have shut down now,
Yeah.
all because the corporate fucking hacks
Hmm.
uh played us for, everybody's lazy now.
Yeah. They played at the idea that people just want convenience. It really kind of just goes to the whole fact that people
Cindy,
want the most, or you know.
I agree 100%. Cindy, that's a really good point. You're stuck with theaters that are more like a mall than an
Yeah.
actual theater.
Yeah.
Very true. One of the theaters I walk in, it's got a fucking arcade, which is fine. But then there's like outside of the concessions, there's like an ice cream shop in there, and there might be a Subway in there, and all this fucking crate. Just sell me my movie ticket and give me my goddamn candy.
Yeah.
I don't have to do all this fucking shit. Maybe play the fucking arcade while
Hmm.
you wait for your movie to start or something like that.
Hmm.
But it gets crazier and crazier, and then they're like, "We've got 16 screens, but you're showing the same movie on 8 of them."
Hmm.
Can't
Sure.
I hate that type of shit.
Yeah.
And
It's
like I
fair.
said, I would feel like an outsider in a
Hmm.
in a place like that. Snake, my buddy Snake,
Hmm.
he went to go see Aquaman.
Hmm.
He was dragged out by his girlfriend to go see Aquaman with the
The girlfriend he
family.
doesn't like.
The girlfriend he doesn't like. He was dragged out there, and he said that um, he was surrounded by all these people, and they're all cheering and they're all laughing. He just like looked around like, is this really the standard that people have gotten to now with their movies? You flash some CGI on screen and everybody's cheering and laughing, and
At least I'll say this for Aquaman as a DC movie apparently did really good
yeah,
for
it
how much they've been trash recently.
it made $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's the first one to do that. Uh, Upon my coronation, says Zach, entertainment shall be federalized, so small and creative filmmakers can make whatever they want. That doesn't encourage degeneracy. Lon B 2020.
Of course.
Groom says, if you must go to a theater, smuggle in your own booze and sandwiches. A lot of people would do that. I remember always bringing in my own food and drink.
Hmm.
But you get people in there that like, they bring in like chicken wings and shit. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Uh, I'll
Um,
I'll continue with the article.
yeah, go ahead. Oh, hold
So
on. Groom says corporatist globo homo reduces everything to the pumpkin spice latte denominator. It's very true, Groomed. Go ahead.
okay. So the stacks beneath Brooklyn's videology. It's part of Scarecrow's movie. It just that's always like there. There's like some kind of thing that he has.
Yeah, Scarecrow is a very it's one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, part of Scarecrow's movie from for-profit video stores to not-for-profit films center was an addition to the screening room, similar to Vidiot's, which put a space for both showing movies and holding them for classes in the early 2010s. But in Wellsburg, Brooklyn, New York, a struggling video store found such add-ons were deciding factor for their survival. Wendy Chamberlain's got in the video store in business in 2003, competitively late. Videology was initially a regular retail store, and there was still plenty of juice in the business at the model of the time. Our heyday was 2005, 2006, 2007. Those were really, really good years for us, she says. But around 2009, as the aftermath of the other recessions were setting in, we really started seeing that something was going terribly wrong. We kind of hoped that the video store recession was a recession-proof business, and perhaps there was used to be back in the day when video stores were somewhat recession-proof. But now I don't think that's the case. I mean, I think that's what people did was they cut back on going out to movies. They also cut back on renting. They went to Netflix for $79.99 a month. You know,
It's not that
that
no
cheapest
more.
option there. Yeah, I know it's a lot more expensive now.
Yeah.
She and her
And
husband.
go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and you think it's a deal because for $11, I mean, it might even be more than that now. But for that price, you get all these movies,
Hmm.
which blow,
So is that
and
was
you
that?
don't even really watch. Most people I know, they got Netflix for one show that they want to watch on there.
So is that for month?
Yes, per month.
Wow, that's a fucking ripoff.
I I agree 100%.
Wow, I didn't even realize it was that expensive. Holy fuck, I have family
And
members who
then
buy that
like
shit. What are they thinking?
I think it increases in price if you want to be able to use your account on multiple screens and shit like that.
What the
So
fuck?
if you've got like 4 different devices that you could possibly use for your Netflix, or you've got different family members and things like that, it's going to be even more than that.
Jesus.
At least it was when I was on there. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they've gotten any cheaper, any better, or anything like that. Anybody who's got Netflix would have to let me know. So,
Oof. Okay. So yeah,
um,
I'd say go with Shutter because at least it's only like $5 a month.
Shutter would be the one that I would get just because I'm such a horror fan.
Yeah.
One more time, and nobody came in, but if anybody wants to come on and talk about their theater experiences or rental experiences, their video stores or anything like that, there's the link in the chat. Anybody's more than welcome to come on and speak if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine too.
All right. Let's see. Let me get back to what I was reading. She and her husband James bore down and weighed out, figuring we'd reach a plateau, she recalls, but then we reached the point where even if we hit the plateau now, we can't pay our bills at this point. So we started brainstorming. It's a great space. It's a great location. I've lived up in Wellsburg for 15 years. I didn't want to leave. I would have killed me to see someone else take the space doing something else. It was like, we need to do something with the space. What can we do? And it actually took me a little while, but eventually we had the epiphany. What if we added a screening room and a bar? Which seemed like an obvious
Okay.
solution. Yeah, they added a bar to it as well.
There's a theater. It's not a corporate theater or anything.
Mhm.
It's in Cleveland, and you can. It's just a theater. It's got like 2 screens, and
Mhm.
they'll show independent stuff, but you can buy beer there.
Nice.
I don't recommend going there, but
So they spent the next several months overhauling their business. What was initially a 2 large rooms of rental shelves were compressed into one, and the back half was converted into a screening room. Then the movies were moved into the room while the front was converted into a bar. Now they show films, hold events, host bingo, trivia nights for movie buffs, and serve as a hub for Brooklyn cinephiles and TV fans.
they host bingo.
Yep.
What the fuck? It's like a super center
Hmm.
for entertainment.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
Oh,
kind of cool that it's a hub for people in Brooklyn that are cinephiles and TV fans who just go places where you could talk. Have a trivia night too, where you could talk about all kinds of shows, all kinds of movies. That's pretty cool.
but bingo.
Look, it's bingo.
You know who shows up to bingo.
B7, Grandma.
They're piping in all these movies.
Oh, and they still rent movies. They only have a few hundred in their 17,000 titles that are on display in the shelves upstairs. Customers can access the library via an online database in the store or at home and put a title on request by a number, which employees then retrieve from the shelves downstairs that have to look and tactile sensation of a stack beneath a library. This setup eliminates Chamberlain's favorite part of the video store process, browsing the aisles and making discoveries.
Hmm.
We've
Which
always
we talked about that.
Yeah, we're taking away a thing that sets us apart from Netflix, and the rental revenue is practically nothing. We might rent maybe five or six people a day. People usually aren't more than one thing at a time, so that rent maybe like 10 to 15 DVDs a day. But the movies are still there, lending, if nothing else, symbolic value. It used to be we would rent no problem, or thousands of videos a day, she says, sighing. Obviously, it's very, very different. That's kind of where we are now. You do you do what it takes to stay afloat. Sometimes stores combine with other businesses. Some change the equations. Across the river in Manhattan, Midtown Video Files can see the service called "We Deliver Videos" to order rentals online and have them delivered and returned. But some stores, by virtue of luck or location or history, haven't had to adapt at all.
Well, it's a shame that it not more places.
Which brings me back to Video Free Brooklyn. I wandered the shelves, which are divided into so many conventional categories with a few wild cards. It's early December, so they have the pro display for Weird Xmas, and mainstream titles sit right next to tales like Wild Man, Steve, vehicles, Super Soul Brothers, and Sergey Martino's Torso. I turned 83 last month, so I grew up smack dab in the time frame where video stores were absolutely an important part of my culture growing up, and certain my film education. Hillis explains. The selection here reflects that education. It's curated, not with no filter, which is good because there's no room for any. The store is all of 375 square feet. Hills was a customer before he was an owner, and I even thought of going into the video business until the store closing sign went up at Video Free Brooklyn a few years back. I got excited about all the super cheap DVDs I was going to be stacking up, he recalls, and then maybe a week or two later, the sign came down and I asked one of the employees what was going on, and they said, I think somebody is trying to buy the store. And I thought, that's really weird. Why would a failing video store seem like a worthwhile purchase unless it wasn't failing? Turns out it wasn't. It was actually totally substantial, but the owner was checking out. He really wasn't a movie lover. He just got into the business at a time when video stores just did well. This may have been a bodega for him. So Hillis, without knowing, went in knowing what would be not a big financial reward, but also no big risk. It was substantial from day one. The moment I took over, it's not like I had to do something to try to get it into the black. I knew I could always just sell the stock that would be able to make it worth my time. But rather than sell the stock, he's increased it from 5,500 titles to initially to his current collection of 10,000 titles. And I know some places boast more than that, he says, but we're 10,000 curated. That, as far as Hillis is concerned, is key. It's a boutique, and it's not like the business model that could work anywhere. But it can work in a few other places.
Like where?
Austin is an interesting city, says Vulcan video store manager Brian Connolly. It's not a huge city yet. It's getting there, but it's a big city that has big city things.
Keep Austin weird.
And people have the mentality of shopping locally. I feel like most people in this town are like, I want to buy my groceries from my local grocery store. And the same thing applies to movie rentals. Austin doesn't just have two Vulcans, but there's also two I Love Videos. They're an independent chain, so that means this town still has 4 independent video stores, and they're doing very well. They've all been supported by the community. Scroll down. Any input you want to add, Jenova?
I'm because you were talking about Brooklyn. It just reminded me sort of a movie that came out
Mm.
with Jack Black. I think
Oh,
it was
yeah, that one.
Be
Yeah, I know.
Kind, Rewind.
Rewind. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a good movie. That movie is about a video store owner and the employees who work there. They don't have a lot of the normal blockbuster type movies that you would get, like Ghostbusters or RoboCop, stuff like that. They've got older, rarer films in there.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of the employees get together and they start making their own
I thought the whole
versions of
the
those
whole
movies.
the whole thing of that was they accidentally wiped the tape, so they basically have to,
Yes. Yes, they do wipe tapes. That's right, exactly. They wipe tapes. It's not that they don't have any, but they wipe the tapes accidentally with something, some kind of magnetic
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, they
So they
basically
have
magnetize
to
the tapes, yes.
Right, so they have to remake the movies themselves with their own thing, and they actually kind of fall in love with filmmaking while
Mhm,
doing it. Um, and then, like, around the third act, the Hollywood corporate bigwigs and their lawyers show up, and they're
mhm,
suing them for every copy that you have of Ghostbusters and RoboCop and Bad Boys and all these other fucking
mhm,
movies that you're putting out and making money off of when they're copyrighted.
mhm.
And it's not a good film,
No.
but it kind of it does have some heart behind it when
Mhm.
it about filmmaking and movies and
Yeah.
what they really do mean to people.
Too bad Jack Black's an idiot.
Yes, very true.
Let's see. Let
Brew
me
says Vulcan video utterly Californicated.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Wouldn't
Let
that
me
fall under fair use, Strug? Uh, I don't know. They were basically remaking the films on their own cameras, using the same names, the same story, the same title, and everything. So I'm not sure if it falls under fair use or not, but
Vulcan is another early groundbreaker, in fact. Founder Diane Donnell rented out films before videos were even available, and the loyalty of the community has helped them weigh out the chains. I feel like anyone who lived near us has had to go there, Connolly says, and even if they didn't, they knew we had more movies. We still had more foreign movies and more weirdo stuff than Blockbuster would carry. They've seen the demographic shift. We definitely had a point where college kids stopped coming by. But there's also started to turn back around. They realize, especially in a town where film programs and the Alamo and people are really hungry for movies, and if you want to watch everything by a director, you can't rely on the internet or computers. You actually have to rent. You might even have to rent a VHS tape. Thus, the combination of a favorable community and scarecrow-esque everything under the sun spirit has kept the Vulcan going strong. We always kept the old stuff. We had everything. We still had the first tape we brought. As long as we haven't come out on DVD, we still have it here. That community support has its limits, though. 2 weeks after this interview, the second I Love Video location unexpectedly closed its doors, and the one in San Francisco's most enduring video stores, the video, folded in November. Maybe Hillis is right, and there are only so many places that would support video stores anymore. Again, I'm in Brooklyn, he says. I don't necessarily think the store would work in the West or someplace like that, where there wasn't a strong enough community of people who would just move up to date on art and culture, and we're
did he
seeking
say
more.
the Midwest?
Yeah.
Yes, because they hate movies in the Midwest. Keep going. I hate this guy now. Go ahead.
I just think he means because his type of store, I think is what he means.
Fuck Brooklyn. Go ahead.
Okay. uh, People were just moving. Yeah, let's see. Maybe he's right, but Keith Hoogland might disagree.
All right, I like Keith. What's he got to say about the
A
Midwest?
family located in Spencer, Wisconsin. Hoogland's father, Charlie, ran wholesale business in late 70s, and in 1978, he ended it with more copies of those initial magnetic video releases than he could sell to Sears or Wolcott or his other customers. We tried to get a price protection or send them back to the movies or get an extended terms, it says, and they just wouldn't do. So we said, we'll just rent them and let people rent them. And thus, the first family video store was born. So the country's oldest video store chain is also the last one standing and not even struggling. As Blockbuster and movie galleries folded across the country, Hooligan opened more stores. There were 400 locations in 2004, and now there's up to 777 in 19 states, most of them in the upper Midwest plus Canada. The
Nice.
video the video business is still cracking, he says. It's not the same as it used to be. Redbox has taken a little bit, streaming has taken some, and Netflix took some. But we've got a big bump where Blockbuster and Movie Gallery closed. That brought us back a little bit. So overall, we're a little bit down over the biggest days. But boy, when you get our stores on Friday and Saturday night, we're sorry scrolling. We're absolutely packed. People can't find parking places. We're still really busy. It's an impressive story, but Hooligan won't break his arm patting himself on the back. It wasn't that we're so great, he laughs. It's our competition was so bad. The video business didn't really cater, he explains. Blockbuster was very poorly run business, always has been. The
No,
heavy debts accrued by Blockbuster and Movie Gallery were their undoing, according to Hoogland. But Family Video has outmaneuvered its competitors, as Daniel Herbert notes in Videoland, by owning rather than renting its locations,
there you go.
putting the company as much in the real estate business as the video business. The buildings of those chains inhabited were expensive, with sweeping rent escalations built into their leases. Family Video's overhead basically stayed the same. And by staying the same steady course, they benefited from the implosion of their competitors. At the same time they were blowing up, I was having the best years ever, he says. All of a sudden, you have towns across the country with no video store because Blockbuster and Hollywood Video closed, and now everybody thinks the video industry is no good. But around my stores, 2012 was my best profit year. There aren't any family video locations in major markets, though. They have multiple locations in suburbs in cities like Chicago and Detroit. The smaller market costs and mentality have played in part in keeping the community going. Their video stores still feels like a community hub, and least you forget, there's still plenty of consumers who don't have access to broadband internet and can't afford cable, as well as older viewers who still prefer physical media and don't mind the trouble. But Hoogland knows it's starting to feel quaint. People come from the Midwest and like, oh my god, you still have video stores? That doesn't help our business. That makes people think that makes people who are going to feel like they shouldn't, and it makes young people not come in. So our age demographic has definitely gone up some. We still get young people, but not as many. So that's where we're causing the strain. If Blockbuster and Hollywood were still here and we still had stores everywhere, I think we'd go quite a ways further.
When the internet goes out, the young kids will wish they had video stores.
Hmm. It's
I wish they'd open one of these video stores around me.
I'd go.
Yeah, and instead of having to pay your $12 a month,
Hmm.
you just pay for the movie that you rent on that fucking day.
Yep. Okay, let's see. It's easy to write off the effort of these men and women to preserve the video stores and acts of desperation, analogs of people in the digital world clinging to an outdated business model, their customers and partisans still floating off like the resonance of 80s and 90s nostalgia. But video stores isn't just a throwback, it was vital and still can be. I knew that video stores were more than just a collection of movies, Daniel Herbert writes in Videoland. I knew they were constituted by the interactions occurring in the aisles and over their counters. I knew that video stores and their people within them could tell an untold story about American movie culture. The video store wasn't just a retail space, it was where people made discoveries, took risks, happened upon oddities, realized what kind of moviegoer they were and were going to be. There are so many things, Video's Kathleen Tabor says. Just spending some scrolling time in a video store. If you haven't done it in a while, there's something so special about it, about a community aspect of people coming in and talking about movies, of discovering new things, walking around, looking at something that wouldn't necessarily think of that or that want, or get recommendations from real people. Hooligan agrees. Video stores are happy places to be. It's fun to say that. It's funny to say that, but it's really true. Versus a grocery store where you're doing a chore, where you gotta go there. You don't want to go there. You want to get in there and out there. This is a place where people meander, and they spend a little time, and they shop, and they're looking at things, and they're picking up movies, and they're taking their time. And there's something to be said for that. In a busy world, somewhere there's a place to slow down a little bit in a good mood, so we can think to ourselves as part of an entertainment industry. Yet that simple act of going to a video store and selecting your entertainment has ramifications we've long taken for granted, forgotten the generations raised on instant access online. Forget the generations of raised on instant access online. Even those of us who come up from video store era have a hard time grasping a notion that once upon a time you saw a film in a theater or at a rival screening or on television, and that was it. There was no film ownership. There was no viewer control. That's something, isn't it? I'm not
Yeah.
fully done yet, but I'm just going to pause there for a minute because Moppy's whining.
I definitely agree. But at the same time, I mean, like you said, like kids that grow up on instant access for their movies. When you would, you'd have to get the TV guide to
Hmm.
see what's coming on the television. And you don't want to miss a movie. Or even when you used to be able to take a blank VHS and record the film off the off the movie, and then you'd have that. I've still got a couple of those, Temple of Doom and shit. You got to fast forward through some of the commercials and
Hmm.
everything. Uh, Kids don't understand that shit. Kids now, they get like a 15-second fucking advertisement, and
For
they're like, "Fuck
BetterHelp.com.
this." Yeah. Fuck this. I'm getting an ad block. This is dumb. Just let me watch my film. And trust me, I don't like the advertisements either. But um, what he's saying isn't wrong. I mean, you can still go see. See, the thing about the theater is, much like Blockbuster, theaters have bad business practices,
Ah, God.
and
Sorry,
that's why.
I'll be right back. My
Oh,
beats
go
are
ahead.
whining
And that's
instantly. I mean,
why.
I'll be listening, but I'm keeping
Um,
myself muted.
that's why people aren't going to the theaters as much anymore. Like we discussed, the ticket prices are too high, and they're overcharging you for food, and all you got to sit around a bunch of people that you don't fucking like, and there's always some guy in the fucking theater who can't keep his mouth shut, or somebody's phone rings or something like that. And why do that when you can watch a film in the comfort of your own home instantly, instead of having to go out, pack the car, take everybody to the drive to the theater, no matter how far away it is, unless you live like, right around the fucking corner from it. TV Guide is the only prophetic book that has been proved 100% accurate. Far too much in the form of advertisements on the internet, though. It's cancer. I agree. Blockbuster is still open. It says we open my. Was there more to that? We rock $10 is a hell of a lot cheaper than $2 every time I want to watch the same movie. I agree. And if I like a movie, I will pirate my films. But if I really like a movie and I don't want to have to rely on a site that I use to stream them or pirate them going down because they're constantly getting taken off the internet, I will buy that film if I really enjoy it. But I don't mind paying a rental fee, or not a fee, but I don't mind paying to rent a film from a video store to see if I like it or not. And it's a lot fucking cheaper to pay to see if you like it from a video store than it is to go to the theater and and pay big bucks to see a film for the first fucking time. Laughs in Pirate Bay. I don't use Pirate Bay, but is Pirate Bay still around, or did they get fucking taken down?
Are you asking me because I'm now back?
I'm just asking Chad.
So I'm ready to read the rest of this article. It's almost
His
actually done.
83-year-old keeps dragging on. We get it. He likes movies. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so here's the here's this one from Kate. So take this with a grain of salt because she's from Seattle. One of my soapboxes that I get on when I get all passionate about talking about video stores is the great democratization of home video media. Scarecrow's Kate Barr explains. We tend to overlook it because we don't tend to think of commercial-based enterprises as anything political sense to apply those political labels on them. But it really was a hugely democratization movement
Yeah, right.
in terms of putting videos in the hands of individuals, taking it out of the hands of corporations, because the Dems really don't ever have corporations now.
No, never.
Now it's a strange and altogether unexpected way we've regressed because the decision is of one corporation, Netflix, controls so much of what so many people see. We've been down this road before, more than once, and it bears repeating. Netflix's streaming library isn't curated, and it isn't programmed. And at this time, it's barely quality controlled.
Yep.
It's not based on providing the widest selection or a cross section of import, praised, or communally successful titles. It's based on one thing: licensing deals. And that's quickly becoming a secondary concern. Netflix so does not care about film culture because they found the original content game a more lucrative for them, says Video Free Brooklyn's Aaron Hillis. So because they're letting their licenses lap, and now if you want to watch a great films of the canon, how do you see them? How do you watch The Godfather? How do you watch Citizen Kane? I tell you right now, the works of Alfred Hitchcock are not on Netflix. He's right.
Yeah.
The only Alfred Hitchcock title currently available on Netflix instant is his television show.
Yeah.
The, but maybe that's for the best. Vulcan Video's Brian Connolly says, it's weird when Skyfall came out in 2012, people were coming in like, Netflix didn't have any James Bond movies. I want to watch one of those before I see the new ones that's out. That's crazy. We also get a lot of that Christmas time with customers being like, oh, they didn't have Gremlins this time, and that's stupid.
Yep.
I want to watch that. People are smart, especially people who really like movies and care about them. And they know that Netflix isn't giving them what they want completely. That's
Uh,
going to have the video store if they want to watch everything they want to watch.
Not to interrupt, but we kind of talked about that with Netflix and October,
Mm-hmm.
and how they don't like because basically what he's saying is they don't care and they really can't.
Mm-mm.
And October is the time for horror films. For everybody, basically, unless you're a horror fan like we are.
Mm-hmm.
But you go through October and there's no special like, oh, we're uploading this or anything like that. Nope. And then December rolls around and it's, look at all these Christmas movies. Like, come on. Go ahead, continue.
All right. So in a way, video stores benefit from those slender streaming libraries, since the limitations of these collections keep video store business if you can find one. So the video store remains to find themselves in a particular position, a symbol of the recent past trying to hang on to the present. Unsurprisingly, many of these proprietors are thinking about the future. Video stores might just have to be treated more like a library, Connolly speculates. It may not be a thing that makes a lot of money, but it's still an important resource you need in your community. Stores like Scarecrow and Vidiots are always making that transition, but Barr doesn't see it in the future business solely on those terms. In the future, video collections will fall under two different camps, she predicts. First of all, you have the smaller neighborhood stores, which survive by staying lean and mean. They keep sparse collections, a small footprint, and this allows them to keep their overhead down. And then you have large collections like Scarecrow and Vidiots, whether non or for profit, they'll focus on keeping catalog titles, obscurities, and independent circulating throughout the communities. Hoagland likewise sees regular video stores getting smaller, even his own chain. The video industry is going to stay here for much longer than anyone else thought, but I don't think we need the square footage. Videology's Chamberlain can imagine the future like that as well. I think it comes back to the place that it's all about browsing, she says. All about the deep cuts, not about the new releases. You always want to be able to get new releases somewhere online. That's fine. Maybe not 30 copies of that new release, maybe one or two. I wonder if 5 years from now, someone will open a small 500 square foot place that's about curation of a collection and the passion. Young people will start to discover it and they'll say, hey, you got to check this place out. They've got this craziest stuff. In other words, a video store of the future could look like Video Free Brooklyn, a curated video store that has staff of people who work in the film industry. I think there's a great need for that than ever, Hill says. It comes back around at the same time when the smartphone killed the watch, and then the Apple created the Apple Watch. It's almost like a forward-thinking retro idea. Chamberlain concurs. I think it needs to die in order to be reborn, she grins. At this point, yeah, the video store is becoming somewhat vintage, but there's a nostalgia for that even among people who never experienced it for the first time. The people that are buying records today are not the people that bought records back when record was popular. They have a nostalgia that's sort of like a cultural nostalgia, not a personal nostalgia.
That's a good way
So,
to put it.
is the video store here to stay, even in the current makeshift scorched tape state? Scorched tape state. Hoagland should know. He's been doing this longer than anybody. We've been saying this since 1980 that the video industry is going to last at least 5 years because we didn't know, and we've been saying that for 35 years. He chuckles. But I'll say this: I think we'll still be here in 5 more years. I still say that, but I've never said 6, so don't read something into it. He's a funny guy, that hooligan.
Where do you think Netflix will be in 5 years?
Fucking done.
You think it'll be done,
Yeah.
or at least dying?
Dying. It's already dying.
It's true. It is already dying. That's why they have to keep raising the prices on you.
Hmm. So that was the article I wanted to bring up because I just really loved
It
the
was a good
whole
article.
take on it. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wish there were more video stores around.
Hmm.
They're just. It becomes one of those things where, because I think he mentions it in the article, because people think that it's dead or dying and they don't exist. People don't seek them out anymore, and
Yeah.
they don't realize that they are still here.
Mm.
And you can go in and get the same experience you used to get going into your local video store.
Yeah.
And you can probably still get your porn there too. They probably
Yeah.
still have a beat it off section,
Adult
uh,
only. Yeah.
adult only, or like World Video had what they called the Bible. And you would have to flip through the Bible, and it's got all these different it's
Titles.
got the covers and all the titles, and they've got numbers next to them, so
Mm.
you don't even have to say the name of the video you want. They keep them in back, and I want number 4, so they would go back and they'd get you number 4.
Would they put it in like a paper bag for you too?
Probably, yeah. I could see them doing that. Strog says, "What's Netflix's debt? They shelled out all that money for original content. They've got to be. They've got to be sinking hard.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, especially when you don't release your ratings or anything
Yeah.
like that. And I imagine most people are watching maybe a handful of the films that are on there.
Yeah.
Because I would scroll and scroll and scroll, and after like maybe an hour, I'd be like, all right, I guess I'll watch this. Not like in a video store where, when I'm browsing and browsing, I've got multiple different things that I want to watch.
Mhm.
And really, the browsing is not just looking at the box art and stuff like that, but figuring out, I've got all these choices. What do I, all
Mhm.
this quality, what do I really want to fucking get?
Yeah.
Uh
And that's
and
the
you,
good that's the good thing about video stores too. You take your time, you really decide like, "Oh, do I want this? I want something different. Maybe I'm not in the mood for this." Yeah.
exactly. Me, I was always in the mood for horror.
Mhm.
Always straight to the horror section. I heard somebody say one time the horror section is where people go when they couldn't find the movie that they wanted, or they had watched everything in all the other sections.
Mhm.
And Bruce Campbell quickly reprimanded him for that. It was during a Bruce Campbell interview, and he said, "No, wait a minute." A lot of people go straight to the horror section.
Mhm.
And like I mentioned earlier, horror section will oftentimes be a small section.
Mhm.
I imagine if nowadays it's probably not.
I think
Where
now it's really the bigger section, I would imagine, yeah.
I mean, I would hope so as a horror fan.
Yeah.
Sweet said, "Did I just hear Jenova say I have multiple dick pics I want to watch? Or am I needing coffee and wake up that bad?" I don't know if I said that.
I had multiple videos he wanted to watch is what he said.
I could have said dick pics I wanted to watch. Who knows?
God.
Who knows with the shit that comes out of my mouth?
True. So the one
That's
thing
exactly what he said, says Porky. Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
what I was gonna say is the one thing we haven't really covered, we've talked about throughout the entirety of the show, and why I added it as a topic was the idea of the drive-in too.
Right.
Because I think the whole thing comes at the article helps write it full circle that the drive-in is also another big part of American film culture as well.
True. Yes.
And here's the thing, chat. You might not know this, but there used to be it's either 100,000 or 10,000 drive-ins in the United States. Or
Wow.
yeah.
So
And
like,
now there's only like 600. Or
yeah.
actually maybe even less than that, 400. I remember Joe Bob talking about, I'm like, wow, that's really true? Holy fuck.
Oh, Joe Bob must be so sad.
Mm.
He loves the drive-in.
The drive-in's great.
The new Hollywood horror films are Seth Rogen films. So strong. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. That stupid fucking Jew.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Canadian
Uh,
and a Jew. Oof, double feature there.
there's at least one documentary on the drive-in industry in the U.S., right?
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that's true.
I couldn't find it when I was looking for uh, videos to like watch to prepare for tonight,
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure
I
either.
would hope that they would have Joe Bob in there.
You would imagine they would because he's a big part of the drive-in culture and everything
Yeah,
else.
but like drive-ins, they're the one they gave you all the great 50s, 60s B sci-fi films.
Yep.
You
And
know,
even then, past that, the grindhouse films of the '70s,
yes,
the cheesy films of the '80s and '90s, and even now they still, you can go see modern movies at a freaking drive-in. They
yeah.
still, and they'll have double features if you want to see more than one movie too. It's like
Uh, and
pay a little extra.
it wasn't uncommon for you to watch a movie
Hmm.
from the 70s or 80s where people like a scene would take place at a drive-in
Hmm.
or somebody they wouldn't be in a normal theater, they'd be at a drive-in theater.
You know what'd be actually really funny, at least for me, if I found it funny, if there was an actual screening where they called it the Donnie Darko double feature, and it's Evil Dead and The Last Temptation of Christ.
And not Donnie Darko 1 and 2.
No, not Donnie Darko 1 and 2. It's just called the Donnie Darko, and that's what it is. It's just what he was watching in the fucking theater. 'Cause he was watching Evil Dead and The Last Temptation of Christ. Like, what the?
I think The Last Temptation of Christ has Patrick Swayze in it.
I think so. I just remember the fact that there's like that claymation scene where Jesus is like waving from the cross. It's like a cult film because it's weird.
Yeah. Groom says, I repeat, the drive-in theater is peak America.
It is.
Cars and movies, you don't get more American than that.
I agree.
Definitely. And a drive-in nonetheless.
Hmm.
You know, the time a lot of drive-throughs and drive-in theaters are almost, if you think about it, it's almost like the instant sort of convenience thing.
Yeah.
You just drive in, boom, there you are. You got your ticket. You don't have to leave your car unless you
Nope.
want food or anything like that.
Yep.
It was another thing that was based on the convenience of
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure had that great drive-in scene. It did. I think there's a
Yep.
drive-in scene in Carrie as well.
Yep. There is.
Um,
That's because Stephen King stuck in 1957 peak driving.
true. Yeah. See, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I
Mhm.
know people like Stephen King, even though we don't really. I mean, maybe he's got an aversion to motor vehicles.
Yeah. I wonder
But
why that would be.
but you'd think more people like that, like a guy like Stephen King, he's got money to fucking spare. Why not open a drive-in theater?
Because he hates people.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, he could. All the connections he made, it would be so easy for him to get the rights or whatever he needs to show films or anything
Mhm.
like that. He could open one in Maine.
Mhm.
You could get Sam Raimi could open one if he wanted to.
Mhm. I
But
think with Sam, it's just because he has too much he's trying to do on his plate most of the time.
I'm surprised Joe Bob doesn't have
Yeah.
anything as well.
I think he lives pretty humbly. Might be the reason for the.
But it's just the thing is, if you talk to a lot of those people,
Hmm.
I almost guarantee that they would say, "Oh yeah, we love the drive-in. Oh yeah, we love video rentals." Like there's not. They would be saying the same things that we're saying,
Mhm.
but we don't have the funds. We don't have the ability to sort of,
No.
or at least it's a lot easier for them to do it. And instead of, they'll sit there and say, "Yeah, it's a sad thing," but they have the inability to sort of fix it or do something about it, and they don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, and they help push the Netflix, they help push the Prime. They
I
want
don't.
you in those theater seats,
I don't
and
know
then
if
they
I don't
want
know
you
if
at
Sam
home.
really would. I would say I don't think he pushes it more than because I don't think he has any shows on there.
No,
But
I just brought up some names as an example.
yeah,
It
I
could
get you.
be anybody really. Disney. How come, like at a Disney park, how come there's no Disney drive-in theaters and they'll show you like old
That's because
Disney films or
That's because
anything
Disney
like that?
hates America. Come on, get with it.
I agree 100%. Disney loves China. That's who they love.
Yeah.
Because Drumpf, says Porky. Porky says, I'm in the classic car culture. Film is still a little foreign to me. Uh, the old drive-in theater near where we settled is now a lumber yard, but the old screen is still there.
Who said that?
Groom did.
Mm.
Uh, they've got like a in Fallout New Vegas.
Hmm.
They're like towards the beginning when you start, you can go past a an old drive-in that's been like bombed,
Hmm.
and you can still see the screen
Hmm.
out there. So this idea of drive-ins is definitely in the culture. I don't think you could. I mean, maybe you'll get a Zoomer or somebody, maybe a millennial here or there will be like, "What's a drive-in?" But they don't really know anything else either. So I just don't know why because a lot of people in film, like I said, like Stephen King, he's stuck in 1957. You'd think it would be some kind of side project for him. He doesn't even have to run it. He can just fund it.
Ooh, this is hard to hear because apparently someone was saying that drive-ins are making a comeback, but this is even worse than I thought. All right. Despite some claims to the contrary, drive-in movie theaters in the United States are not making a comeback. As of March, I think this was in 2017, there were only 348 drive-in movie theaters in the U.S., down from 443 theaters in 2000.
Ooh, how many did they tell you how many states?
They account for only about 1.5 of movie theaters in the country. In 1980, there were around 2,400 drive-ins.
Okay. With
How many drive-in
300
theaters
something,
are
I mean,
left?
that's enough for a couple per state.
Yep, it says 300. Oh, wow. And actually, I'm even wrong by this one. Whatever it said for this, it says there's 330 now, so even more close.
Jesus. By the day, I bet. By the day.
Yep. Actually, and there used to be, it wasn't 10,000. I was wrong when I said that. It says the peak for the drive-in theaters was 4,000. There
Okay.
used to be
I mean,
4,000.
that's still a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a lot, but in the context of a drive-in theater, which is sort of a, I mean, it's sort of like it's not as, of course, not as prevalent as a normal theater. But now, what do you think's doing better, video stores or drive-ins?
Probably I'd say video stores.
Yeah, I would think so too. It seems like, if I opened a video store, I might be able to stay in business for maybe a couple years.
Here's an interesting thing, though. Here's what it says. At least 6 of these drive-ins of the 330 that are still left open are marked as National Registered Historic Places.
Oh, well, that's good. At least they're getting the recognition they deserve. I'm
Route
sure the
6,
one in Camden, New Jersey, is the one in Camden still there?
I don't know. I'm going to check through this list at the moment.
For
First,
some
we got,
reason, I feel like it was demolished.
it may have been, 66 Drive-In in 1949 on the U.S. Route 66 in Cherries, Missouri, opened until 1985 and reopened in 1988. So that is one of the National Register Historic Places at Route 66.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Beverly Hills Drive-In Theater in Forest County, Mississippi. Opened and regular until 1987 and then for special events. Damaged by Hurricane Katrina in 2005, it was the oldest
Mm.
drive-in in operation in Mississippi.
Oh.
Destroyed by a fire in 2010. And that was NRHP listed too.
Mm. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about natural disasters and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
that shit's gonna happen. And I
I
assume that
think it
if
was I think it was possibly repaired for being for a historic place.
yeah, it's
Possibly.
true. Well, what I was gonna say is if drive-ins were more popular or they were still prevalent in some way, that even if there was a fire or some type of natural disaster, they would be rebuilt.
Yeah.
It seems like all you really need for a drive-in is a screen and a parking lot. Maybe
Next
audio system for the speakers and everything like that.
Next, we have Boulevard Drive-In, which was opened in 1949 in Alton, Pennsylvania. It closed in 1985. Here's one that's still open: the Cherry Bowl Drive-In Theater and Diner in Honor, Michigan, 1953.
They got any in Ohio?
I'm just going through them right now. This it doesn't say like here's one in Ohio, but I'll get to that. We got the Cumberland Drive-In 1952 in Newville, Pennsylvania, still open. The Family Drive-In Theater in 1956 in Stevens City, Virginia.
Mhm.
We got Fort Landell Swamp Shop in Fort Landell, Florida,
Oh, the swamp shop.
with 14 screens for a drive-in.
14 screens.
Yes.
God damn. It's
Hole's
like,
Drive-In in Lexington, Virginia, asserted to be the only not-for-profit drive-in theater in the United States.
so I don't have to pay any money.
Nope.
They must show some pretty bad films.
King's Drive-In in 1949 in Russellville, Alabama. Medtown Twin Drive-In in 1954 in Mendon, Massachusetts. Two screens since 1998. You got the Midway Drive-In in 1950, and that's in Sterling, Illinois, still open. Here's the one for Ohio. Midway Drive-In in Ravenna, Ohio. Second screen added in 1990.
I won't even tell you how close that is to me. It's in Ravenna.
Yep.
Okay.
We have another Midway Drive-In. There's a few of these in the United States. The Midway Drive-In in Texas in 1955 between Turkey and Quinton, Texas. Closed in 1980, reopened intermediately upon 2011.
You got to go back, Groom. You said you
Moon
just got here and settled in, and already you've ruined everything that made us come to America. You got to go back.
Yep.
We're full.
Moonlit Theater 1949 in Aberdeen, Virginia, closed in 2013, reopened in 2016. It is a National Registered Historic Site. That's 1949. Route 35 Drive-In in Hazlet, New Jersey, closed in 1991. The Silver Moon Drive-In in 1948 in Lakeland, Florida. The Spud Drive-In Theater, 1953, between Victor and Driggs, Idaho, features a giant potato.
Aw, groomed. Feel bad, man. You talking about Yugoslavia, groomed?
Probably.
Go ahead.
Was still operated in 2011. NRHP rated. Now we have the Through View Drive-In Theaters in Delta, Colorado. That's just listed there. That doesn't say if it's still open or not when it opened. We have the Wellfleet Drive-In Theater in 1957 in Wellfleet, Massachusetts on Cape Cod. Has an indoor cinema as well.
So it's a combination Pizza Hut Taco Bell, basically.
By the sound of it, yeah.
It's got the outside, the drive-in for people who don't want to have to get out of their car, but you can also go inside if you want to. Or maybe it's for, where was it located? Massachusetts.
Yes.
So they get some shitty winter over there. So
Yeah.
somebody was like, I got an idea, outside and inside for when the weather's shit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We have Wilderness Outdoor Movie Theater in Trenton, Georgia. It doesn't say when that was opened either. And I see that something in this is listed as Drive-In Theater Revival. The resurgence of the industry happened in the late 1990s was the inception of the do-it-yourself drive-in beginning in 2001, which utilized contemporary tools such as LCD projectors and micro radio transmitters. The first Liberation Drive-In opened in Oakland, California, which sought to reclaim underutilized urban spaces as vacant parking lots in downtown areas. The following years has seen the rise of guerrilla drive-in movements, with groups of dedicated individuals orchestrating similar outdoor film and video screenings. Showing often have organized online and participants at specific locations to watch films projected on bridge pillars or warehouses. The content featured in these screens has frequently be independent or experimental films, cult movies, or otherwise alternative programming. The best-known guerrilla drive-ins includes the Santa Cruz Guerrilla Drive-In in Santa Cruz, California, North Bay Mobile Drive-In in Novato, California, Mauve in San Francisco, California, and Hollywood, and the most recent Guerrilla Drive-In in Victoria, British Columbia.
You talked about like do-it-yourself drive-in.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a projector, and I've got Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Creature from the Black, all all that go with the projector. I could
Mm,
just start my own fucking theater.
yeah, get really driving. Faced
Yep.
with the closure of Hall's Drive in Lexington, Virginia in 1999, the nonprofit group Hall's Angels formed to raise funds, buy property, and operate the theater as a nonprofit venture specialized in family-friendly films. Hall's continues to be a nation's only nonprofit drive-in. As of March 2014, the figure of 348 drive-ins has been published in the United States. In fall 2014, the burger chain Johnny Rockets announced that they would team up with the USA drive-ins to open 200 drive-ins by 2018, serving Johnny Rockets food at concession stands. So
Really?
that's
So that was in 2018.
mm-hmm,
So we could be seeing some drive-ins popping up soon.
because of Johnny Rockets, yes.
I never even heard of Johnny Rockets. This is a long article, Jeepus. No, it's a different article now.
Yeah, it's a different
It's a
article.
different article, Strug.
It's all on like a Wikipedia site, so
Yeah, he's kind of just listing off some of the more relevant, still around drive-ins.
let's see. Yeah, it doesn't show any others on this. There should be more. There's a lot more than the drive-ins that they're listing for this Wikipedia site, but they just
I
missed like
should
the most known ones.
I should go to the drive-in in Ravenna
Hmm.
and like make a little video for the channel.
Yeah.
Um, Johnny Rockets is a car hop restaurant, says Strog.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like one of those.
It's a
So
burger chain, but
it's
their
one
whole
of those.
their claim to fame, I think, is that they use the same grease they used when they originally opened. That
Okay,
they
is
make
that a good thing?
it makes the burger taste unique.
I'm sure. Well, unique is a that's a very vague word when it comes to taste.
I know.
Um, so like a car hop restaurant. That's one of those places where you sit in your car and they bring you your
Yeah,
burger.
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah. So there's all I've seen them in malls and airports too. So
Cindy, they've used the same grease from when they opened for their burger, so it tastes unique.
yes, she just
I
mocked
don't
what
know if
I'm
I
saying.
want to. I don't know if I want a burger that. I,
I don't
if
know.
I
Look
ask
them up.
somebody, "Hey, how's that burger you're having?" and he goes, "It's unique," I would. I don't know if I would order that burger.
I'm just saying that's what I remember them talking about. They use 150-year-old grease.
Aged grease, yum, tastes like the 50s, says Strog. Groom says car hop places were also great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read off this other thing. I found an article called Country Living where they talk about the like best drive-in movie theaters in America.
All right.
The good old days when drive-in theaters abounded across America might be behind us, but there's business in small towns and bustling cities alike. Aren't letting that nostalgia fade. Catch new releases and even some classic movie screenings in these theaters at old-fashioned nights out. So we have 30 photos. The first one is Bangor Drive-In, and this is in Maine. It's Hermon, Maine, Wednesdays through Saturdays during summer. Once
I
shut
bet
down for
Stephen
more,
King goes there.
probably. Once shut down for more than 30 years, this newly reopened twin screening theater shows both old favorites and the latest films for $22 per car. All right. Coyote Drive-In, Leeds, Alabama, Wednesday through Saturday during spring and daily during the summer.
Don't talk to me about sophistication. I've been to Leeds.
You want to
Any of you Brits know where that's from? That's a reference.
you
Go
want
ahead.
to come hungry to Coyote? The on-site canteen restaurant serves all specials like popcorn, pizza, hot dogs, and burgers. All right, next we have Starlight Drive-In Movie Theater in Lynchfield, Minnesota, Friday through Saturday and Sunday through the summer. And it says the owned and operated establishment has been a part of Lynchfield's history since it opened in 1914. Holy,
Lynchfield. You can't call your city that.
sorry, Litchfield.
Is it Lich?
Litch.
Not Lynch.
Yeah, it's Litch.
Now I'm sad.
So this place has been around than the fucking one you told me about. It's been a lot longer. 1914.
1914?
Yes.
That's really weird because it's usually common knowledge that the first drive-in theater was invented in 1933 in Camden, New Jersey, and opened that same year.
Well, I guess that's wrong.
I
I
guess
guess
that's fucking wrong.
I guess New Jersey lies. What a shock about
Where's
that.
this one from 1914?
This is in Minnesota.
Fucking New Jersey beat out by Minnesota.
I
Oh
think
no.
MN is Minnesota, right? Or the
What?
MN
M
is
MN
Minnesota.
is Minnesota. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, they've got beat out by Minnesota. Expect to see Hollywood's best stars on screen and incredible views of nighttime star right above it. All right, next. We have the Skyview Drive-In in Belleville, Illinois. It says open weekends from April throughout October. This historic 1949 establishment has been a hit for moviegoers for decades. Stop by and you'll get to see back-to-back features with your ticket, and you can get a reserved premier spot for your vehicle in advance. And you can even get a prime spot for your vehicle in advance. Excuse me. Fiesta Drive-In Theater in Carlsbad, New Mexico, Friday through Monday year round.
Carlsbad.
Carlsbad. This family-owned drive-in movie theater is the best place to see all the latest films if you live in the area. In fact, you can become a member of the Fiesta Drive-In Club and get 50% off all your ticket purchases for just $10 a month.
So it's a subscription
Yes.
for driving.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a season pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's open year-round.
Right.
We have Stars and Stripes Drive-In Theater. Can you guess what fucking state this is in?
Texas.
Yes. It's Lubbock, Texas. Year-round it's open.
I almost
And
said California.
in
Good.
addition to showing movies of 3 different screens.
That's nothing to the 14 screens from that other one. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
This Texas theater's coolest feature might be its 1950s themed cafe,
Oh
complete with
shit.
classic solar power style milkshakes.
So they make them like the old-fashioned way.
Yep. You even get they go out to the side of your car and they'll put out the tray onto your car.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's like a car hop with a drive-in.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now
that's
they just
probably
need the
like
girl. Then they just need the girls on roller skates,
yeah, wearing
hula skirts.
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, Starlight Drive-In Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. This is also open year-round. Established in 1949, Starlight Drive-In Theater quickly became a popular Atlanta destination known for its Art Deco style. Now the theater shows movies after dark on digital production systems, while patrons play audio through their car stereos using FM transmitters.
So I don't even need speakers in my car. Well, I need speakers in my car, but I just have to tune the dial on the
Yep,
radio.
yep.
Okay.
Now we got
That's
Benji.
a really good idea.
Yeah, now we got Benji's. It's in Baltimore, Maryland. Summer month is when it's open. Entering in the 60 Entering its 60th season this year, Benji's claims to have the biggest outdoor movie screening in the US, measuring 52 feet high by 120 feet wide.
Jesus.
This theater opened in 1956. Also hosts a triple feature on Friday and Saturday nights. Triple feature.
Triple feature.
All right. We have the Coyote Drive-In in Fort Worth, Texas, year-round. The Coyote Drive-In was founded in 2011 by 4 friends hoping to create a family-friendly destination in Fort Worth. Not only does the theater have stunning backdrop of downtown, but it also opens live music before screenings. That's nice.
Yeah.
Route 66 Drive-In in Springfield, Illinois. Memorial Day through Labor Day, plus weekends in September and October.
It's got to be a lot easier for you to have a drive-in in a place that's got better weather
Yeah,
year round, right?
yeah.
Because I mean, what do they do during the winter? Do they put
They probably put a tarp over it or something, I imagine. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something that goes over it, but
yeah,
it's just something that popped into my head.
yeah.
Go ahead.
The newly restored Route 66 Drive-In boasts 2 screen showings, double features nightly. Football fans also gather around the venue for tailgate parties and theater show games on the big screen. So they show they show live football games on the fucking
That's a good idea.
yeah,
I mean, because like you think drive-in movie theater, oh, you're going to see a movie, but why can't you show like sports or
yeah,
anything on there?
exactly. I'd love to watch a baseball game on a big screen.
Yeah.
Galaxy Drive-In Theater, Ennis, Texas. Year-round. Then again, I'd love to just go to a baseball game. I don't like baseball, but unlike most old school drive-ins, this one allows customers to purchase their
Baseball.
tickets online ahead of time. While catching first-run flicks, including the occasional 3D movies, visitors can chow down on food, snacks like Dippin' Dots. The theater opens.
Dippin' Dots.
Yep,
I
like Dippin'
haven't
Dots.
heard about Dippin' Dots since like
Dippin' Dots. Now that's a name I remember from the war.
I remember what like that shit was like.
Moppy, Moppy, don't whine.
That shit
Moppy,
was
Moppy,
like
what?
fucking Dippin' Dots was like the food of the future type
Moppy,
shit.
come here. Why are you whining at me? What's wrong?
She's tired of the drive-in talk. She's like, enough.
The theater opens 365 days per year at a price more reasonable than your average movie theater. Yeah, I imagine it is more manageable than your fucking movie theater. Oh, here we go. Four Brothers Drive-In at Amnia, New York. Spring through fall.
You could go there.
This kitschy upstate New yeah, I could. I just don't know if this is close to the Canada border or where this is. I've never heard this town. Oh, it's in the Hudson Valley. Yeah, that's like 6 hours away now. Fuck
Oh,
that.
fuck that.
1 second. I hear Moppy doing something. Talk to the chat for a moment. I gotta
drive 6 hours just to sit in your car for another 6 and then drive 6 hours back. They close down for the winter. Yeah, they do, Raga. I know they close down. I was just wondering, during the winter, like, what do they do to make sure the screen doesn't get ruined from the weather? Texas is the promised land, but for the southern border, it would be heaven on earth. Are you guys talking about Slavs and shit like that? So do you guys like movies and stuff like that, or anybody a big movie fan? Does anybody remember the first time they went to a video store? They removed the screens. Oh, okay. So it's not like a tarp or anything. It's more like they remove the screens and roll them up or fold them up or something like that. That makes sense. In Texas, we drive for hours for decent barbecue because Texas barbecue isn't good. Or what are you saying, Groomed? What are you saying about Texas barbecue? Because some people might disagree there. Yeah, I never thought about them removing the screens, Rock. That's a really unique idea. Well, I guess not unique. It's a sheet of cloth, just like the indoor theaters. Okay. So they're not. So it's just a sheet of cloth. They're not made out of anything special or anything like that to make it so the movie like pops and looks better. It's got to be some kind of special screen, though. Texas's best barbecue, or some were painted panels. Okay. Because often it takes hours to reach the nearest city or town. I see what you're saying, Groomed. Texas's best barbecue? Yeah, probably. Nope, just nylon cloth. Wow. So you just need a big enough nylon cloth, and you could probably open your own drive-in or a theater, whichever one you want. It's probably easier to open your own drive-in because you just need some nylon cloth in a parking lot instead of having to like build the actual theater. I'm going to start having drive-ins. I'm going to give myself a nylon cloth and hang it out on the garage door and
wait for the
project some
Skinwalker.
movies. And wait, oh no, now I can't. I saw two new missing pet signs today.
Oof.
Yeah, two, a cat and a dog.
Ugh.
It's like it with all the missing kid posters everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I don't know if I can play Remus.
Rock says, just go to the theater and ask them for some. When they replace it, they'll give it to you. Well, I have a roll of it in my shed. Well, it's easy for you to go to the theater and ask them. You know people. Will they give it to you for free? They'll probably charge me. My theaters are all corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Or they probably, because they're throwing it out anyway, they might just give it to me.
Maybe. Let's see. I was taking a little snack too because I found Mom got to feed myself.
I used to know a couple of guys that used to work at the theater, and they would always get like, they would always have like these posters and shit like that, or they'd get like cardboard cutouts and shit.
Hmm.
They're just going to throw it in the dumpster. I'll just wait in the dumpster.
Oh God.
I won't have to talk to anybody. I'll just sit there and be like, I'll just wait in the dumpster. They'll toss it on me.
Okay, so here we are. I'll go back to this. The Kimchi Upstate New York shows a double feature, beautiful Hudson Valley setting, complete with a playground and diner-like concession stand. Vintage touches like a car hop food delivery are balanced with modern amenities, including a charging station for electric cars and a litter box for any pets who want to catch the flick. You gotta bring your fucking pets.
Would you take Moppy?
I mean, I have to get a leash from Moppy, but yeah,
Would Moppy handle a leash?
maybe. She might play with it though.
An 8-foot Jason and a life-size Freddy Krueger stand up? That's fucking cool, Rock. Do you have them in your garage, or are they proudly displayed in your home?
Highway 21 Drive-In, Brentford, South Carolina, open year-round. From funnel cakes to corn dogs, visitors can
Now I
nosh on
want
country
funnel cake.
fair-styled food with enjoying features filmed in this laid-back, low-country setting. It's called Highway 21 Drive-In.
Where's that at? South Carolina?
Yes.
In my living room. Good man.
Oh, this one's close to the city. This is Warwick Drive-In. It's in Warwick, New York. March through October. With 111 acres of farmland and 3 movie screens, this small town theater is a perfect way to enjoy some good old-fashioned fun and under the stars. Swan Drive-In Theater, Blue Ridge, Georgia, open year-round. This theater in the Blue Ridge Mountains opened in the 1950s was showcasing classic films like Cast of the Long Shadow, Tarzan the Ape Man, and The Oregon Trail. Now it's a cash-only establishment serves upon just-released movies alongside indulgent concessions like fried Oreos and funnel cakes.
Fried Oreos?
Hmm.
How come I've never had a fried Oreo?
Well, that's your
I
own fault
need a
now.
fryer. I need a fryer. That's what I need. I don't need
Seiko,
nylon cloth or anything. I need a fryer.
Seiko Drive-In, and that's in
I'll
Seiko.
deep fry everything. Go ahead.
Is at what state's ME? I forget.
Uh, Maine?
No, Maine's M. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Whoops. Yeah, that's Maine.
Don't say Oregon funny, please.
Don't say Oregon funny.
Oregon? Or are you talking about Oregon? Because my buddy moved to Oregon, and he was like, first of all, he's a ginger Jew, by the way.
Oh God.
But when he moved to Oregon, he just for the first like 2 months, all anybody did there was correct the way he says Oregon. It's
Don't you just
it's,
call it Oregon, or is it Oregon?
it's Oregon.
Why you call it that?
I don't fucking know. Well, he was saying Oregon, but they kept correcting him and saying it's Oregon. It's
Who said
Oregon.
who said I had to correct it?
Exactly. It's America.
I'm gonna say it how I feel like it. I'm American.
How come I've never had a fried Oreo? Because you don't live in Texas. We deep fry everything. It's Oregon. Porky. Bye, Hawk. Thanks for coming on, man.
Later, Hawk.
Porky, are you correcting me? Do you even live in Freedom Land?
Don't you live in Australia?
Aren't you one of them Aussies?
Aren't you Kano from Mortal Kombat?
Don't correct me. Oregon. I think Porky just doxed himself.
He may have, yeah.
That's how you find out all the Oregonians or whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh, hipsterland? Yeah, I don't give a fuck what they want to call themselves.
Oh, he
yeah.
lived in what's the Eugene? He lived in Eugene too, I believe.
Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Which I think is pretty hipsterish. But then he moved to Washington to work for. Okay, so he actually got married to the ginger Jew. Got married to a girl whose family is very fucking rich, very well off, and they got into the marijuana industry.
Okay.
and he works in Washington now as a tester. It's his fucking dream come true.
He got his herb of choice from his tomatic masters.
Oreganos. They're called oreganos. Eugene is a. I'm not Australian. Gross, says Porky. Eugene is a typical shitty college. You're not Australian, Porky?
I don't
What
know.
is happening?
I guess because he watches Sweet Stuff. Maybe I assumed he was. Maybe he is.
I think it's because Sweets is so insistent on calling him Port.
So he's from Oregon.
So he's from Oregon. And the Oregon Trail.
Oh, tell me how great that state is. Oh, wait, it's not. It's awful.
Yeah.
The only thing good about it is the wilderness. That's all people ever talk about when they talk about Oregon.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got some great parks.
Yeah, but besides that, it's like fucking hipster land. It's where all the fucking hippies left New York from and went there.
Nah.
You're welcome. We give you our trash.
Gingers. Says Struck. Yeah, he's a fucking redheaded Jew whose father left him because he's a fucking bastard. We always used to make fun of him for that shit. He'd try to make fun and be like, "Shut up, Jew! Your father doesn't love you." And he would just get real sad and put his head down.
I can't help it. I can't stop laughing.
It's funny.
All right. So, anyways, established in 1939, Shaco claims to be the second oldest drive-in theater in the country, but it's
You
not.
could use that line for Esau. Shut up, Jew. Your father doesn't love you.
I will now.
Go ahead.
Actually, I have a better one than I have. Shut up, sand peasant. Your father doesn't love you. Oh, I just see that Rock actually put his posters on my
okay.
Discord. Those look good. I like them. Cool.
Let me open this up here. I'll check it out.
I will.
Rock, I was going to ask you. You got your Jason and Freddy Krueger stand-ups. Which movies are those for? Just wondering what,
Okay, we have Harvest Moon Driving and Gibson
Chad
City.
Beavers. He changed his name to Chad Beavers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Rock, you're great.
So
okay, I see what they're for. It looks like it's the. Are these just posters or are these stand-ins, Ron? Are these the stand? Yeah, that looks like these are for the remakes.
So we got Harvest Moon Driving in Gibson City, Illinois. It says 7 days from spring through July. Special events offered year-round. And we got this drive-in shows movies in rain or shine and features fun events like carnivals, a 5K race, and card shows. Best of all, patrons can barbecue their own food while watching movies. This has to be like Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
Because
what are you eating, Gene? You're dried up. I was gonna say eating your dried out boar jerky.
No, it'd be too chewy.
Nah. Go ahead.
Next one. The Mansfield Drive-In in Mansfield Center, Connecticut, April through September. I mean, it makes sense that Connecticut has a drive-in because the fucking state's a parking lot.
Mansfield, Ohio is the superior Mansfield.
In addition to its drive-in theater, Mansfield also hosts a large outdoor flea market every Sunday.
Oh, we're going down to the flea. That's another thing too, flea markets.
Yeah.
You could find some great shit at a flea market.
Yeah. I mean, they're still around too. It's just they're harder to find.
Yeah. I think the last time I heard about a buddy of mine going to the flea market, it was like 3 guys in a parking lot selling knives.
We got the Wellfleet Drive-In Theater, which is Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And this is open year-round in Massachusetts.
Yeah. There's some great movie shit in Massachusetts. I used to know a girl who used to go to like the film festivals all the time over there, and she'd sit down and John Waters or somebody like that would literally, they'd sit right next to you.
Mhm.
It's a very, very cool place. Cape Cod, not so much.
No. But says among the attractions at this retro theater, a mini golf course, an old-fashioned snack shop, a bar and a grill, and a flea market with many as 200 vendors. What the?
Wow. So it's really kind of like a super center, like we
Mhm.
were talking about before. It's like an entertainment super center. You could play mini
Here,
golf.
here's one of the more historic ones too. It mentions we got Hall's Drive-In, which we know is the non-for-profit drive-in. It's in Lexington, Virginia. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Lexington residents love this drive-in theater so much they saved it from closure in 1999. It now functions as a non-for-profit community-owned business. We have the Blue Moon Drive-In Theater in Gunwin, Alabama.
Gun win.
Guwin, Alabama. It's Guwin. It's open year-round. This twin-screen drive-in is located off the Highway 43 between Winfield and Gwin and plays double features in a lot. Wait, double features to a lot of that fits 250 cars. Tune in
Damn.
via your FM stereo and hit up a one on-site concessions for snacks. Bonus: kids under 6 are free.
Nice. I need somebody let me borrow their kid.
Diesel Drive-In, Vineland, New Jersey, March through October. Let's see what this is. Built in 1949, this New Jersey drive-in went out of commission in 1987 and didn't reopen until 2004. Starting Memorial Day, this theater opens on Sundays. Is open on Sundays, plus Fridays and Saturdays between Labor Day and October. Special holiday screenings take place throughout November and December. The concessions include snacks and candy as well as outside the box options like teriyaki chicken and eggplant parmesan. Okay.
That's it's a little classy for a drive-in.
Malco's Summer Quarlet Drive-In, Memphis, Tennessee, open year-round. The Malco movie theater chain has been family-owned for over 100 years, showing
Damn.
first-run flicks on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in Memphis. Kids under age 10 get in for free, and adults frequent the old-school venue for entertainment like operas, concert, live theaters throughout the year. Oh.
Over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like 19 1918.
Yeah.
So that's another theater that
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
around before the New Jersey one.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The Oh, here you go. Here's one for you.
We've been
Jenova.
lied to about the drive-in.
I know.
Go ahead.
The
This for me
field.
is it
Yeah.
in Ohio?
Yes, it is. It is Field of Dreams Drive-In Theater in Liberty Center, Ohio.
Oh, Liberty Center. Yeah, I know where that's
April through October. This family-owned theater has been kept alive in Ohio family nostalgia for nearly a forgotten time. The venue hosts first run-in double features and provides plenty more entertainment like putt-putt golf and cornhole on the premises.
Oh, we love our cornhole around here. Let me tell you. There are like cornhole competitions all the fucking time. People love cornhole around here. It makes sense that you would put a drive-in in Liberty City, Liberty Center, though,
Mhm.
because there are a lot of like it's got like a big auto mile
Mhm.
for people to go and buy their cars and shit. So it makes sense that there would be something like that out there.
All right.
Rock says we used to be able to just watch movies at the drive-in from my grandfather's front porch. He only lived a few blocks from the last one in the city. No audio, but it was still fun in the summer.
Yeah, that could be fun. Mesa Drive-In in Pueblo, Colorado, March through September. This classic drive-in celebrates its 50th anniversary in 2009 by turning a single-screen theater into a triplex.
Wow.
Each screen shows a double feature nightly, starting at dusk.
Dusk.
Their call-ahead menu features eats like corn dogs, nachos, and funnel cake fries, keeping hungry moviegoers full during
Funnel
the
cake
film.
fries?
Yes.
Oh my god, I want funnel cake fries now. And then with a fucking fried Oreo.
Kapari Drive-In in Coldwater, Michigan, April through November. Family owned and operated since 1964, this classic drive-in boasts plenty of modern updates. The digital production screens and quality sound ensures customers have great experience under the stars while soaking in the 50s vibe. We have Becky's Drive-In Theater in Walport, Pennsylvania, open through June through October. This beloved outdoor theater is rural Pennsylvania has massive fan base of movie lovers, young and old. On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, all the latest flicks are shown at dusk. Throughout the open season, families might find pony rides, car shows, haunted hay rides, and other events on the premises.
Car shows are kind of easy to put together
Yeah,
too.
especially since it's, parking lot.
Yeah.
We got Star Driving in Mont Vista, Colorado, April through October. Book a room at the unique Best Western Movie Manor in Colorado, and you'll get a much cooler experience than on-demand movies in your hotel room. It's attention to historic Star Drive-In. It's attached to the historic Star Drive-In. Provides a clear view of the screen for most rooms, as well as speakers, so you can hear everything clearly. You can, of course, skip the room and drive up to the Star yourself to catch the flick, but you can see it from the drive-in because it's attached. It's a hotel drive-in combo.
Jesus Christ. Can I still hear the audio?
Yes, I just said they have speakers in the room so you can hear the audio.
Whoa. Where is this?
This is in Mont Vista, Colorado.
That's awesome. It's a hotel, speakers in the rooms, and the screen is big enough you can watch it from your room.
Yes.
God damn.
We have Boulevard Drive-In Theater in Kansas City, Kansas, April through September. This Kansas City staple, first opened in 1950, has been showing movies from Under the Stars ever since. With digital sound and plenty of first-run movies on the big screen for every Friday and Saturdays, locals continue to come back for a dose of nostalgia. On weekend mornings, stop in for a swap and shop, which has been operated since 1957. Sorry, 1975. And the
What was
last
the name of that hotel one?
the hotel one is called Star Drive-In.
Star Drive-In in Colorado.
Yeah, Mont Vista, Colorado.
Okay, go ahead. The last one?
The last one is the Alamo Draft House in Austin, Texas, is open year-round. Alamo's brand of eat-in movie theaters have stayed popping across the country, but its first found Austin back in 1997. In recent years, the theater has partnered with Fandango and other brands just to put on special screening reminiscent of drive-ins, but with a fun twist. Their annual Rolling Roadshow screen flicks of various outdoor locations, and special summer drive-in screenings of Jaws took place in Lake Travis, with viewers floating in inner tubes, their feet dangling dangerously in the water. They're showing Jaws as they're floating on water while watching it on inner tubes.
That's a really great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've actually heard of that before. That reminded me that they kind of they show Night of the Living Dead in the Beverly Hills Cemetery, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like every October or every anniversary for Night of the Living Dead, I think maybe.
Possibly.
But you can actually sit in the cemetery surrounded by corpses and watch Night of the Living Dead. That's the list.
That's the list.
Man, that's Star Theater or whatever. That might be my favorite one. Yeah. That's a really great idea. And then I didn't even think about being able to, pump it in through the radio either for the speaker, so you don't have to have that shit on the outside of it.
Yep. My favorite was probably the one that had the classic 50s styled restaurant with the soda jerk bar and everything else.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the end of basically talking about that. So for the last 10 minutes, and I was totally trying to buy for time, let's talk about Black Scorpion.
You want to talk about Black Scorpion?
And the good segue to that is because there are also streaming service sites where you can find more obscure things like Shoutbox and Shudder, unlike Netflix. But Shoutbox is free.
Because if you, that's the great thing about ShoutFactoryTV.com.
Yep, Shout Factory, yep.
Is that it's very similar to Netflix. It is instant. It is a streaming service, but it's completely free. You just have to deal with the selection they put on, which, I mean, it's not really any different from Netflix. It doesn't have as big of a Netflix selection, but you do get
more obscurities.
You get more, like I said, they've got Chopping Mall on there now, which you're not going to find on Netflix. You might find that on Shudder or maybe Prime at some point, but Shout Factory said, nope, we're putting Chopping Mall on. Chopping Mall is a great film. it's always worth. Every time I see Shopping Mall, I'm like, oh, Shopping Mall. All right, let's watch this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I should actually own it, but so Black Scorpion is a 2001 television show, which is
by Roger
based,
Corman.
yeah, which is based off the movie, I believe, called Black Scorpion.
There's also a comic book character by the name too. I looked it up.
Is it the same character,
Yes.
or is it a different character?
It's the same character.
So she was a comic book character first.
I don't know. I haven't checked deep enough.
Well, Black Scorpion may be the greatest show in existence.
Well, holy shit, that shit's cool. Look at the our Discord real quick. My Discord real quick.
Let me see here. While this is long, what's your favorite part of Black Scorpion, Gene?
The titties.
Yeah. The tits and ass are the best part of Black Scorpion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Rock showing the fact that there was a twin drive-in theater that got demolished.
Drive-in, wow.
Mm.
That looked like it would have been great to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, now it's coming down. That last picture is really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Just tearing down culture, huh?
No culture for Canada. They don't get any.
Nope. No culture for you. It's really our culture anyway. Yeah. Just wussified.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one by my grandfathers, he said.
Oh shit.
American B movies helped me perfect my English and teach me how to American, said Groomed. I imagine as a foreigner, American B movies would be great for shit like that. You get a lot more slang in them too. But Black Scorpion's definitely got the chicks are hot in that show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ass, a lot of puns.
Yeah.
Everything is like a ripoff almost.
Yeah.
Of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got the Scorpion mobile.
And I'll say this again, like I told you earlier, it's fair because Batman's just a ripoff of the Shadow anyways.
True. And some of the plots for some of the episodes, I'm very much like, this is just the plot to Christopher Nolan trilogy. Like,
that's because Christopher Nolan stole it.
I'm pretty sure Christopher Nolan watched Black Scorpion and was like, that would be a great idea. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. They're going to release a fear toxin into the fucking, because that's what they do in one of the episodes. In one of the episodes.
That's Breathless, right?
Yeah, I think it's called Breathless.
He's called Breathless.
No, he's called Breathtaker.
A Breathtaker. Jesus
Breathtaker, Christ. Who's also played by Batman, Adam West Batman. So it comes full circle. Breathtaker forces Dr. Phoenix to make a fear toxin, basically. That's a nerve gas, and they pump it into the whole city through the gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
At the gas stations. So whenever you fill up or anything like that, it makes you just fucking you start to hallucinate and you start to see your worst fears, which is the plot to Batman Begins. Mm-hmm. No, it's fair because Scarecrow and the fear toxin is obviously a ripoff of that. But then you come again full circle when Batman is now practically ripping off a ripoff of Batman, mm-hmm. which is a ripoff of the Shadow.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she has to have her like a lair with her
suit in it when she already has the ring.
When she just atomizes it with her ring.
Mm-hmm.
And all the bad guys are basically. It's weird because all the bad guys are basically progressive liberals.
Yes.
Because they always fight for progressive liberal values. Like the first episode's got Firearm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Firearm just basically, he wants to get rid of all the guns.
Yes.
And then he's brought down and everybody gets to keep their guns.
No, the mayor was trying to take their guns.
The
Like,
mayor was trying to do it.
yes, I mean, no. Look, the whole point.
Firearm was
No,
trying to take their
I know,
guns.
but the mayor flipped on his decision too, and he said, "I'm going to take all the guns."
Oh, well, they
Because the mayor's a cuck.
well,
I
it was
told you
the
that.
prop it was the Prop 357
Yeah.
where there was a weighting limit for the guns.
No, the Prop 357 removed the weighting limit for the guns.
Oh, okay.
So the
Never
mayor was
heard of Black Scorpion. Can you show some clips? I can
no.
probably. Maybe. But what I can do is I can link you to this real quick, Strog, if you want to take a look at it yourself. Um, there's the full season for free there. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you can watch it in the UK. I might be able to show a clip. Let me see.
If there's guns, you sure as shit can't.
Well, I might be able to show it if it's just a clip, but we'll see.
Tell me to get show it, Chet, because that's gonna happen. And I warned him about this.
It's true. We've got 5 minutes. Armed and Dangerous.
Oh, you.
That's not the one we want.
But yeah, that prop was to remove it, and like the cop wanted to have it, so that wasn't a thing. Because he wanted to have the waiting period still. That's what he was talking about. The mayor's the one who passed it, so that wouldn't have to be a thing. And then he backflips on his decision because he's a piece of shit neocon.
Right. Of course, always. What I'll do is I'll show a promo for it.
Oh no, you fool. Goodbye, chat.
So hopefully we don't get showed.
Here we go. Is everyone ready? We're all gonna die.
Can you see that?
I can see it, yes.
I don't know how loud it's going to be. It's not very loud.
I don't hear anything.
And then we'll end when this is over because it's about 5 minutes long.
City of Angels tomorrow. There she is. Yeah, I don't hear any of this.
I can hear it, but I can't. It's probably good that you can't hear it because there's definitely some copyrighted music. They're playing Limp Bizkit.
Really?
Yeah, they're playing Nookie.
Oh god.
Look at all that gun violence. Boom.
All the guns. YouTube hates them. They're guns, you know. They are firearm. YouTube is
There's
firearm.
firearm. There he is.
So firearms played by the sweep the leg guy from Karate Kid, by the way.
Yeah.
There's
that's Hurricane. Yep. That's Aftershock.
What's her deal? Oh, it's the earthquake chick, right?
Yeah. That's Inferno.
So they're all reject Power Ranger villains, by the way. All the villains.
Yeah, Inferno and Black Scorpion, they kind of have like a little love thing going on.
Do they?
Yeah, a little bit in the episode where Inferno is, where you get Inferno's origin story.
Nice heels. I can barely see the titties.
Now they're playing Rage Against the Machine.
What the?
If I make it. Is that bigger?
Yeah.
It's probably not as good if it's bigger.
Probably not.
Because the quality is so bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it smaller.
It's not the size that matters.
that was Dave Mustaine.
Mm-hmm. I bet that's a joke they used on the show too at some point. Because they use a lot of puns. Is that Inferno again? Was that him?
Yeah.
So he dresses like a fireman if he was a villain as well.
Yes, he is a fireman.
I know, but
he dresses like a fireman if he was a villain.
So
Flashpoint.
So what? Who's this? Is that Jim Carrey?
No, that's Flashpoint. That's the guy that goes blind and makes the laser that turns everybody blind.
All right. Where's Adam West?
They haven't showed him yet. Maybe they will. Maybe they're going to save him for last.
Titties.
Yeah, titties. There he is.
Oh, what the? Wow, he looks really bad. Was this before he died?
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Breathless. Oh, sorry, breathtaker.
Yes. This is Medusa.
Oh, ooh. That's nice. What's her thing? What's Medusa's problem? What happened to her?
Here's clockwise. Medusa's problem was that she was burned by acid when she was young, and because men always thought that she was rejecting them, so she hates men and she's afraid of being ugly. So she basically has a
Oh,
plaster
oh,
gun.
I see who that is. That's the guy from Twin Peaks.
Yes, that's minutia. I haven't made it this far yet, though. I'm only on episode 9. Can you still
Firearm
not
Man.
hear it?
No, I still cannot hear it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chad. If you there's a robicide.
What's her deal?
A robicide is she's part cyborg,
Hmm.
but she hates fat men, and that episode is super feminist.
Hmm. Who's
Green
this dude?
thumb. I don't know. I haven't made it this far yet, but I think that's Squiggy from Lenny and from Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know. Slapshot. Oh, a hockey movie or a hockey themed episode. Oh, bless you.
So this was filmed in Canada then.
It might be. Oh, I want to see this
Is
episode.
that Sportsmaster from Batman? God, that Medusa again.
No, it's some chick named Fox something.
It looks like she should be a Medusa type. She's got the hair. Oh, she uses music to kill people. I bet there's a
Rock
lot
and
of
roll music. We know how bad rock and roll.
clown.
Gangster Frankster is his name, or
Gangster.
Gangster Prankster.
Oh, the Joker. Okay.
Stunner is this chick's name.
Show more cleavage. Muppy, sit down.
Mindbender.
Mindbender.
Yeah, they're saying their names as they come on the screen.
Who's
Oh,
this?
titties.
That Mindbender still? Is he in a
Maybe.
Warrior Princess?
Yeah, I don't know what this episode is.
I'm sure
Maybe.
Sam Raimi probably did. Oh, there's Striker.
Yeah.
Being a nut job that he is. Them crazy Vietnam vets love their guns so much. Clown World, man. Black Scorpion unmasked.
That's got to be Flashpoint.
There's the firefighter. Did he save her?
Like I said, they're kind of. He's kind of a tragic villain. He doesn't want to be a villain, but he is, and he can't. He kind of can't help himself after the accident. Because what the mayor does is to cut to save funding and cut the budget. The mayor takes out the firemen. There's no firemen left.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right?
This dude would be like removed from office like immediately.
Yeah. How can you get rid of firemen?
The first one was bad enough where he says, "Yeah, I'll sanction you dropping a fucking nuke on my city." Yeah, that dude would also be lined up against the wall and shot.
This would fit right into CW lineup. You're right, Strong. It would. But that is Black Scorpion.
Uh-huh.
It's fantastic. And if you guys want to watch it, okay, this hangout on air will end if you continue broadcasting content you are not authorized.
Oh, is that what you just got?
Yeah. I don't think we effed out though.
Oh boy.
But they were telling me it was only 5 minutes, so fuck them. Sounds like a Democrat. Yeah, Rocket's weird because the bad guys and good guys are both. It's weird. It's like liberals fighting themselves almost.
Mm-hmm.
But that is Black Scorpion, and it's on the link that I posted, which I can post one more time. for you guys if you guys want to watch it. Shout Factory TV. It's got some other great shit on there, and a lot of times they will run marathons, and
Mhm.
you can also subscribe to them on YouTube. And
Yep.
a lot of times their marathons will be on there as well. So, but that is going to bring us to the end of tonight's show. We really appreciate everybody coming out, listening to
So
us talk
yeah,
about.
let's wrap up a little bit here. So we found out that video stores and the drive-in are actually still both going very strong, despite what people think about them being dead.
Yeah, they're going strong as mom and pops, sort of.
Mhm. And community things.
Right, as business community businesses and stuff like that. The corporations failed
Mhm.
at them.
Yeah.
But as far as mom and pops, local community businesses go, drive-ins and rental stores are going strong in a lot of areas.
Yep.
And there are still people lucky enough to be able to go to a drive-in and see some movies or walk into a rental store and browse for hours looking for stuff like a lot of us did when we were younger and
Mhm.
when stuff was still around. And I personally don't recommend going to a theater. That's
Mm-mm.
just me. I
I
think
wouldn't either.
a lot of people on here, I think they understand how I feel about that kind of stuff. I've said it and I've said it a lot. So, and that's just me. You know, I don't hate you if you go see Marvel movies or if
I
you go
will.
to the theater to see anything like that.
I will.
It's all for you.
I'll hate you immensely,
Gene will judge you.
and I'll find where you live and show you firearm because he will sweep your leg and then have a gun arm for stupid reasons.
Sweep the leg. But Sensei, I can beat this guy. You got a problem with that?
Cobra Kai way.
It's the Cobra Kai way. We might have to talk about Karate Kid at some point.
I'm sure we will on one episode of Slice and Dice, like Kung
Yeah.
Fu and
Yeah.
not Slice and Dice. On this, cut and print.
Yeah, on cut and print. That's not a bad idea to do some martial arts films.
Yep, and blue exploitation.
Gene implying he won't see Endgame.
I'm not gonna see Endgame.
The only Marvel movie that's come out that I have not seen is Captain Marvel. I'll probably see Endgame at some point when I'm bored, or my my Marvel fanboy friend forces me to watch it.
I thought you hated that guy.
Yeah, I kind of do, but I don't see him a lot. But sometimes when I do, he's like, "Hey, let's watch this Into the Spider-Verse."
Oh God.
I'm like, shut this crap off. Put on Hackers.
No, that's any better, but
It's better than Marvel. Let me tell you.
oh, I guess you beat me in that one. It is better than Marvel.
See, I can get you to watch Hackers.
No, you're not gonna get me to watch Hackers.
You got two choices: Hackers and Captain Marvel.
Can I have a bullet instead? What's the third option?
There's no bullets left. You've only got two options: Hackers and Captain Marvel, and I guarantee you're picking Hackers.
Can I suffocate myself? Is that an option?
I mean, you can try. But yeah, so drive-ins, movie theaters, doing not bad for themselves.
Yeah, they're people say they're dead all the time, but no, they're pretty much alive.
And you
Pretty
might
alive.
see a rise in the drive-in theater
Mhm.
now with the whole Johnny Rockets thing coming.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
we will see.
I'd
But
also like to say before we leave, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel will be Gallery of the Unknown.
Gallery of the Unknown at
And it'll be
9.
all at 9, and it's gonna be all about how demons are aliens.
Oh, I kind of like that conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
They're like interdimensional demons and not really aliens and shit like that.
Yeah, it's the basis for a bunch of stuff in fiction too. With you got Phantasmagoria 2 Puzzle of Flesh touches on that, as does the Doom games as well.
Yeah, Event Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. So that'll be cool. I'll be there definitely. If you don't watch Gallery of the Unknown, you're kind of a faggot. So, but And we'll be back. We will be back on Monday. You've got Banter Rants on Sunday, which
Yep,
I'm sure you'll shill tomorrow
I will.
on Gallery of the Unknown. And we will be back on Monday at 9 talking about kaiju films.
We'll have some guests too.
Yes,
There's a few people
we'll
want
have
to come
some
on.
guests. So thanks everybody for coming out tonight
Yep.
and listening to us talk about everything as usual. We appreciate everybody in the chat and all the input. You guys are great. And
Yep.
we will see you guys later on.
Yep. Take care, everybody. See you.
Bye, guys.